Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
The legendary grumpy old man.
Grumpy, you better get your mic plugged in or something.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't have it hooked up. Sorry.
The legendary grumpy old
The
man.
legendary grumpy old man.
Oh, much better, Grumpy. For those of you who are new to the show, welcome. This is a twice-a-week Islanders podcast that takes place every single Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're new to the channel, we invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, to like on Facebook, and to follow on Twitter. If you enjoy this content, the best way to let us know is by leaving a thumbs up. It lets Grumpy and I know you like the content, and apparently it helps the algorithm. It helps get mine and Grumpy Old Man's word out to the masses.
To the masses.
To the masses, absolutely. You know what's odd, Grumpy?
I'm going to tell you what's odd. The grumpy old man was out with the warden today, chiseling away at the pocketbook on the warden, and I went and bought new furniture for the house. Whole bunch of new. It took a lot of cajoling, coercing. I got son X in on the act. Dog Z was in on the act. And here's the thing. She finally agreed. So, and I'm like, okay, we decided to get the furniture. I'm like, oh my gosh, look how close to the podcast. And I'm like, I got to make sure I get home. So I got home and I'm like, I hope I'm not late. I got home like at 7:59. And wouldn't you know it, no TJ to be seen anywhere. I was still plenty early, ready to go, and no TJ.
Well, I think, it kind of brings you into a weird spot. Grumpy, so what's going to happen with the couch, Grumpy? The legendary couch. Is it going to be donated to the Islanders, to UBS Arena, so the Islanders can have that next to Stan Fischler's little exhibit?
They're going to have the old man for the couch.
This is the Smithsonian. Well, Grumpy, no, you cannot do the New York Islanders wrong like that, Grumpy. You have got to give the donation to UBS Arena so you can be in a plexiglass case right next to Stan Fischler, Grumpy. Just like where he had his typewriter and he had his tie and he had everything he used to work with, Grump, you can attach your couch and it could be right there with it, Grumpy, and it'll be immortalized at UBS Arena.
I don't care. They just got to get it out of the house by next week.
Are they really?
Yes. Because they don't pick up them. So I got to get rid of this couch. I got to either donate it. I'm not going to sell. I'm going to donate it. So I'm going to donate 2 couches.
Yeah, you're donating it to the Islanders. The Islanders, I know.
Yes. Anyone who wants it. Well, like I said, they got to come pick it up. You know, other than that, I'll take it apart and I'll bring it to the dump. But it's got to go. Got to go.
Oh, man, I tell you. What an odd one. And today, Grumpy, also is weird. we started this YouTube channel 2 years ago, I believe, today.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I got a little notification saying, congratulations, it's your channel's birthday. So
Oh,
maybe we started 2, 3 years ago. I don't know. We started this
well, it's
alone.
not 3 years ago. Absolutely not.
So 2 years ago, first time we started this channel up. So 2 years on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Oh, wow. It's
I'm
been a
excited.
blast.
I'm excited. Making some purchases, pre-Christmas purchases.
Well, I kind of want to shift focus a little bit to the
Oh,
Islanders.
okay.
Yeah, no, let's
Oh, okay.
let's get on topic. I
All
guess
right.
we could
That's
talk about
fine.
before we get on topic, one more item to mention. We also do have a second podcast called TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. It is an all sports podcast where we talk everything athletics. We talk MLB, we talk NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball, NHL, World Cup, European football. We talk anything and everything sports on that channel. And it's called TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Olympics.
Yeah,
Anything.
exactly. You can
Fan
find
fights.
Yep, fan fights. Yeah, and we do it live every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. It can be found either in the link in the description below or as a featured page on our YouTube channel.
There you
TJ and
go.
the Grumpy Old Man, Grump.
I like it. I like it. We need more subscribers to that podcast. I'll tell you right now.
Oh, yeah, there. Sure. That's it. But I want to kind of take a dive into last night's game against the Boston Bruins. The Islanders wound up losing in shootout, correction. But I thought we played a really, really good game last night. Despite the loss, I thought we played well.
Care to expound on that, or is that as far as you're going? I'm gonna play you now, and you play me. You care to expound on that? Is that it? Is that all you have to say about it?
If you want me to go ahead and take the charge, sure. I'll go ahead and take the charge.
Oh, look
I
at
thought,
you.
yeah, Grumpy.
Look at
I
you.
thought we played a really, really steadfast game. Defensively this year, we've been less than adequate. I don't think anybody would argue against that. We hemorrhage chances left and right on a consistent basis. Our fantastic goaltending is what's keeping us in games. I thought Varlamov looked extremely good last night as well. I'll tell you, that Boston team, despite their age, they are a very, very talented squad. And, you had to know that shorthanded goal was going to come back and kind of kick us in the ass. But, Boston scores early on that power play, scored 2 goals within 19 seconds. But what has this Islanders team been all year long? They've been a team that's gone ahead and come back, fought from adversity. And, Lane Lambert calls that timeout, and they battle their way back. 2 goals in 19 seconds. There's no quit in this team, just like the fact that this team scores, a myriad of goals in the third period and have a huge plus minus advantage in the third period goals because they never give up and they never stop fighting. That's why it's called the Islanders Never Say Die podcast, based off of that dynasty era time period, Grumpy. Never say die. And even before that. But that's the exact attitude that they take out there on a game in, game out basis. I liked what I saw against Boston.
Yeah. For me, I 100% agree. I thought that was probably as good as we can play. I thought we came out on fire early, and Boston, Olmark is really, really good. Mine's Olmark is really good. I didn't think he was that good. He didn't look that good in Buffalo. He didn't look that good his first year in Boston. He was sensational last night. Varlamov was tremendous last night. You mentioned about the defense and us hemorrhaging chances. Yes, it's the system we're playing, the style we're playing. Why the defense has to join in to create offense, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to beat that dead horse. But so even though we're better, more talented on the back end,
better personnel.
Yeah, we're still more high danger chances. But I mean, Boston's goaltending notwithstanding, I think we have the best goaltending in the league. I think you saw that last night. Varlamov made a couple of that's a puck that hit me. Okay, saves. Olmark was tremendous. And like I said, we scored a couple of goals, the deflection goal by Bailey, and then the wraparound by Casey in the third period that bounced off of Forsberg, the defenseman, and then off of Olmark and into the net. But that was, for a regular season game, they don't get much better than that. I thought it was a super fun game to watch. As an Islander fan, yes, we lost in shootout, but can you really complain about that? You got beat by a better team, but I thought we were great last night. I really did.
The big thing is I like how we played, right? Results from game to game may vary. You may dominate a team and you come out with a loss. Those are usually kind of, you don't like to see that, especially if they start to compile where you're outplaying teams on a consistent basis and you're losing games. But I would say for the better part of this year, we haven't really looked the better team for all three periods. And I don't even think we looked a better team against Boston per se, but I thought we looked very competitive all three periods. We didn't have, it wasn't like the first two periods we were dragging ass and it required us to score 3 or 4 goals in the third period in order to come back. I thought it was a good full 60-minute effort. I know there was a few lapses on our side, but goaltending was fantastic. I like the effort level out there on the ice. Casey Cizikas, I think we mentioned it last podcast, for those who are not fans of the Islanders, you may think, oh yeah, this Casey guy is putting up some pretty good numbers. He's having a fantastic bounce back season. This is the best I've seen Casey Cizikas play in quite some time.
I think he's been pretty good all year.
Yeah.
I just thought you were just talking about last night's game. I think he's been pretty good all year.
I mean, all year, I think he's put together a very, very solid campaign this year. And for those who aren't accustomed with the Islanders, they may say, who's this Casey Cizikas guy? But I thought he's played extremely well all season for us.
Okay. Everyone knows who Casey Cizikas is because he's been on the greatest fourth line in hockey that ever lived.
Oh, that's right.
And they've been trumpeting that since 2014. So, everyone knows who Casey Cizikas is. No problem there. But like I said, I was really impressed with how he played last night. Boston's a good team. They're really good. It's funny. I listened to the Boston announcers game.
As did I.
They're like, oh, yeah, Boston isn't playing as good that well tonight. I'm like, really? Because they look pretty damn good to me. And if that's not their A game, there's bad things ahead for us. That's all I'm going to say.
Listening to the Boston accent was kind of unique too. I don't listen to that accent very often, and that was just a little added treat to listening to the game.
I mean, wasn't Pasternak really, really good last night? But here's the thing: you don't think about it too much, man. He's a really good player, really good. I don't watch a whole lot of Boston games. I catch other games when Islanders aren't playing. But for the most part, Boston and the Islanders play the same day almost invariably.
So and usually at the same time.
Yeah. So I don't get a chance to watch them because they focus on the Islanders, of course. But, man, Pasternak's really good. He disappears in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he's pretty darn good. Marchand is Marchand. And Patrice Bergeron is still, man, he's just 37, 38 years old. That's what I wish we had in our 37, 38-year-old guys. We don't.
Patrice Bergeron's one of those first ballot Hall of Fame guys.
Absolutely.
There's no denying that at all. He's been the best two-way forward for years now in the NHL. And, another guy that impressed me that used to get a lot of shit on, not only from Boston fans, but around the league, Jake DeBrusk. Yeah. How often was he consistently, oh, he's garbage. Oh, I would never want Jake DeBrusk. I would never entertain a deal like that for Anthony Beauvillier going the other way. I said, Jake DeBrusk just needs a little bit of a change of scenery or a little bit of a change of a head coach. Look at the results you've seen under Jake DeBrusk with a little bit of a new voice in the room. The guy was always extremely talented. And you see the talent just fade away and drop off overnight. There's a reason for that. It's not like he just lost his ability to find the touch around the net. He's had a fantastic year this year. I mean, this is a huge bounce back year. And this is what a lot of Boston fans, when he was young, expected Jake DeBrusk to be. He's had a great year. I was very impressed with him last night.
I mean, absolutely. And you're 100% right. Cassidy did not like him.
Correct.
He didn't like Cassidy. He didn't perform. He was a dog. He was put on waivers, I think. I don't know if he's put on waivers.
He wasn't put on waivers.
But they were actively trying to get rid of him. And
he signed, remember, that contract expired. He signed a 2-year, $4 million AAV this offseason. So he's got 2 years on this contract, making $4 million per.
And he asked for a trade from Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. We don't root against anybody here, regardless of what people think.
Except Josh Bailey. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, not even.
Kidding.
That's just part of the show. But, he's earning that contract and more. You don't like to see a guy fail. You don't like to see anyone fail. At least I don't. So it's nice to see a young man like that bounce back. Really nice.
Yeah.
Even though he plays for Boston, who I hate.
I don't like Boston either. I mean, Brad Marchand, ugh. AJ Guerrero, yeah, the entire team of Boston. Ugh, I hate it,
They
but
don't
I
seem
like their performance. Right, I'm actually upbeat, even though we lost last night. I'm upbeat, relatively speaking, from what we saw. I mean, we look at the last 3 games. Right, we've talked about this tough road trip or this tough stretch of 9 games. A lot of those being on the road. Boston was the first actual road game that we've had before the first game of the long road trip. But we're 1-1-1 so far, 3 games into this 9-game stretch.
that's
Not bad.
that's 3 points more than I thought we were going to have.
I was about to say, you thought we were losing every single one of those games.
Yep.
And I like the way we've played. I like the way we've played against top tier teams. Arizona is the next game. Right, we get a little bit of an off time here, but Arizona, the next game the Islanders play.
Yeah, we should clean their clock at Mullet. Is it Mullet Arena, Mullet Stadium? What do they call it? Mullet Head? What do they call it?
Mullet Arena.
Mullet Arena. I got to love the name. I want to go
Friday.
there.
That's on Friday. So you got 2 days of rest, right? And I will say, the Boston announcers yesterday were like, Boston just seems to be running on fumes at the end of the game. And this should be, right? I think we've got obviously the schedule advantage. We'll have a little bit more rest over Arizona, which is not, or no, correction. They're going to have the same exact amount of rest as us. I apologize. But, that's a team that even on the road, we have got to beat Arizona, even though we were shut out by them earlier on this year. Because on Saturday, we play the Golden Knights. And then on Monday, we play a game which I think is almost a guaranteed win against the battered and bruised up Colorado Avalanche.
We're going to find out. Like I said, I predicted we would absolutely beat Arizona. I think we'd lose to the Golden Knights, and I think we'd lose to Colorado.
I would be shocked if we lost to Colorado. Absolutely shocked. Look at the injuries Colorado has. I'd be floored. Not in a good way. I hope I used that correctly, but I would not be thrilled if we found a way to lose to Colorado. They're not playing great hockey this year. They're not the same Colorado Avalanche of last year either, and their team is just banged up.
Well, they've won the last 2, and they're in third place in the Western Conference in the Central Division. So, I mean,
it is worth saying the Western Conference is awful.
True,
awful.
True. I think. I just think they're going to beat us. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just putting too much credo into them being Stanley Cup champions. They dominated us the first time they played us at home. 3-0 lead, and then all of a sudden they went to sleep, and the Islanders beat them 5-3 in regulation. I don't know if that's going to happen again when they play them next time. That's all.
They do have Nichushkin back. He was out. Remember, he was out. He was one of those injuries. But, I mean, you look at that team, right? Josh Manson out. Bowen Byram out. 2 of their top 6 defensemen. And Bowen Byram's a good defenseman. Nathan McKinnon out. Gabriel Landeskog out. Got a lot of players who were injured on that team that are very, very important and producers for them. I would be shocked if we lost to Colorado just with the – and we've had a few injuries, right? We've talked about it earlier on this year when it looked like everything, whoa, we're in hyperdrive. Man, we're the best team. We're 3rd in the NHL. I said injuries are going to happen. Everything levels out. We've had, a few guys that have been banged up. Cal Clutterbuck, man, I don't know if we talked about this on the last show, Grumpy, on Saturday, but man, I think because he took that hit to the face. He's still wearing that cage out there. My gosh, not a pretty sight to look at now for Cal. But you look at it, right? Anthony Beauvillier has still been banged up. I know Oliver Wahlstrom exited and entered the game a few times yesterday. Palmieri is still, banged up. We're going to face a few injuries. All teams do. And, this is a time period that we're facing some injuries. So how do we fare during? And Adam Pelech is still out. Adam Pelech is still out with that concussion.
Now, the biggest injury we have is that Josh Bailey is still healthy, and they will play every game.
That's the issue. He had a good game yesterday. For Josh Bailey standards, would he not?
I thought he did. It was one of those, we'll have 4 or 5 games a year where it's like, oh, okay, he's playing hard today. He's actually not afraid to go into the corners. He's going in front of the net a little bit, near the front of the net. Yesterday was one of those games. Good for him. I mean, he scored for us yesterday, that nice little deflection goal. And he's smart. He knew to angle that skate. His little boop, 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 boop. We did little geometry thing on how to, okay, if I turn it this angle, it's going to deflect up and go into the net. And that's exactly what happened. Good for Josh Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey's played well. I know we had talked about it. We were in the camp of rather we be playing Josh Bailey than Simon Holmstrom, right? When if everybody's healthy, if in a perfect situation, I'd rather play Josh Bailey than Simon Holmstrom, which
Absolutely.
may sound like blasphemy for some. It doesn't for me. I think Holmstrom, the best game he had was his first game, and since then, I think he's kind of looked out of place
He
personally.
sucks. He sucks. You know who else sucks?
Who's that?
Captain Average. Captain Average is an abomination out there.
I do want to give you the update real quick. Simon Holmstrom has worked his way. He's still plateaued at 4 shots in 10 games. Dun, dun, dun.
Four shots.
4 shots, 10 games, 1 assist, 0 goals. I'm not expecting him to light the world on fire, but he's not a guy who, with his production, not only in the offensive or even the defense, right? Everybody's saying, oh, he's the Swedish Wall. Hasn't looked great recently. Doesn't look good in transition. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look great back checking. He's just not ready. And who knows if he ever will be. He's a bottom 6 guy. But I'm good to see that kind of has worked itself out instead of everybody jumping on the wagon saying this guy's the next coming of freaking. He's fantastic. We're so excited about him. He's just a jag. He's another guy. And you have to have guys who play the bottom 6 role. But you're not going to see us waving pom-poms and getting excited about another bottom 6 forward.
He's so, you said, you didn't expect him to be on fire. He is so far from on fire. He's in the new Avatar movie. Okay. That's all I have to say about Simon Holmstrom. He blows.
What's going on with the new Avatar movie? Is it underwater?
It's all under the water. Avatar, The Way of Water, I think it's called.
Ugh.
So I heard it's pretty good. That's what I heard.
And anyway, I think that we played well against Boston. I was happy the way we played. I didn't care what the result was. We got a point. Fantastic on the road. They have not, I think they only have 1 overtime loss at home. Every other game has been a victory for them. They haven't lost a game in regulation at home all season long, and they've only got 1 overtime loss. That's a tough place to go to and to win a game. So
that was against the Golden Knights a week ago. Was their first at home loss. And it was
TD Garden. Yeah, absolutely. It's tough. They've only got, think about this. They only have 5 losses on the year, including the overtime loss. And
that's pretty good.
In 28 games.
They're better than I thought they were going to be going into the season. I thought they were a question for me. I thought they'd make the playoffs, but I think it would be close.
Well, because that Atlantic division is so tough. I don't think anybody would have envisioned the Florida Panthers. We all knew the Florida Panthers would drop off, but we didn't know how much they would drop off, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Okay.
I had something to drink. Is that all right?
Well, I don't have you pulled up. I'm like, what's going on? I hear this noise. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. But I don't think anybody would have expected the Florida Panthers to be off to as dreary of a start as they have this year. You know me, I don't consider the loser. I don't just ignore the overtime losses and don't include those in the equation. They're a team with 14 wins and 16 losses on the year. I don't think anybody said 30 games in they're going to have a losing record.
No. I thought that they'd be better than they are. I thought they'd easily qualify for the playoffs, but they might not. The teams that have surprised me so far this year, Boston has surprised me. Toronto. What did I say at the beginning? What did I say? What did I say about Toronto?
People already say, oh, Dubas is gone. Toronto. Oh, man, they're burning. It's burning in Toronto. And I said, no, just wait.
What did I say about Toronto going into the season? What did I say?
You think they're going to get out of the first round of the playoffs?
Not only that,
they're your Stanley Cup favorite, I believe. Is what
thank you very much. I thought they were dark horse to win Stanley Cup this year. And, I mean, it seems like Samsonov is the guy in net for them. They've done a really good job. I mean, they're on fire, too. They're on fire. They're not in the new Avatar movie. I'll tell you what.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, Simon Holmstrom, ugh. I mean, you know how bad it was?
How bad was it?
A freaking novice yesterday was watching the game with me, and they're like, man, that number 10 guy just kind of skates around and doesn't do anything. I'm like, yeah, that's right. You know what number 10 is? Josh Bailey 2.0. That's who he is. Casper Holmstrom.
No. But there are some updates to give around the league. Think about this. Even with how poor I think the Florida Panthers have played, they're only 3 points behind us. And here's the other thing. Remember I said you can't write off the Washington Capitals? We've got 1 game in hand over them, right? They're only 1 point behind us. They're on a 5-game winning streak. I told you the Washington Capitals were playing the toughest part of their schedule early on in the season. And not to magnify things to the problems they had, they were missing, tens of millions of dollars worth of cap space and valuable players. To Tom Wilson back over there skating in a non-contact jersey in practice. So is Nicholas Backstrom. That's a team that's poised for a real legitimate second half push. And I'm sure that they're going to be all in at the NHL trade deadline to continue to try to, to force themselves into the postseason. The Metro is unbelievably tough. The Eastern Conference is an unbelievably tough conference as well. So it just makes things extremely tight.
You also forgot to mention those Slimeball Rangers, who are tied with us with the same number of games played.
Yeah.
They've won 4 in a row.
Think about how shitty the Rangers are. Everybody's like, oh, the Rangers. Oh, man. Haha. Ranger fans are comparing themselves to the St. Louis Blues already. Oh, man. It's time to panic for the Rangers. Rangers have the same amount of points as us guys. So, I like the way we played against Boston, right? But take everything with a grain of salt, because you're going to have to do more than just play well. You're going to have to make sure you're punishing the teams that are below you and you're beating teams that are above you in the standings as well.
I didn't expect Washington to be this good. I mean, they had a tough schedule to start the year, very, very difficult, but I didn't expect them to be this close this soon. I mean, they've just turned it on. Ovechkin is on fire. Yeah. Now he's has a career over 800 goals, one behind Gordie Howe, and then Gretzky's next. I don't think you can say that he's not going to get that record.
What did I say going into the year? And I said 3 weeks ago, I started making the comments. They're just getting through the toughest part of their schedule all season long is right now. Right? We pull up the strength of schedule. The Islanders have the 3rd toughest remaining strength of schedule in the NHL. Not good. When you talk about who's got an easier road, Washington Capitals, I think, had the easiest remaining stretch of strength of schedule from Metro teams.
Yeah, I think they were 14th.
Yeah, because the Metro just has a really, really tough strength of schedule because there's so many legitimately good teams in that division.
Yeah. For me, I don't feel as good about our playoff chances as I did a week ago.
It's because all the teams that are around us are winning.
All the teams below us are winning.
Yeah, around us, above and below.
Yeah.
It's worth mentioning that. Think about this. I'm going to pull this up for us here. You mentioned all the teams that are around us are winning. Holy crap. Look at this. You don't really think about it until you actually have the pictures and the graphics in front of you, right? The Devils on a 3-game skid now, not the end of the world. They're still very, very far. They're very, very firmly cemented right now in first place in the division.
Put a fork in them. They're done.
Hurricanes, 2nd place there. Penguins were above us, 6-game winning streak. Hurricanes, 2-game winning streak. Islanders, 2-game losing streak. Rangers, 4-game winning streak. Capitals, 5-game winning streaks. Again, they're not going to go win every single game for the remainder of the year, but when the teams around us are winning games and you're dropping and kind of, we're picking up a win here or there, it kind of can change the landscape in the matter of 2-3 weeks.
I mean, it's unfortunate we haven't played Washington yet this year.
Correct.
Or Pittsburgh, particularly early when Pittsburgh was struggling. Now they've righted the ship. I just think with the way that we're playing now, which is more of a Doug Weight type system, where the defense is fully engaged, that's not a good recipe for us beating teams like Washington and Pittsburgh. We've handled them pretty well the last couple of years with the Barry Trotz system.
Yep.
I just think that with the system we're running right now, it's going to be more difficult for us to beat them than it has been in previous seasons. See how nice I said that? I didn't say impossible. I didn't say, I said it really nice, like all politically correct like.
Hold on, is this because the warden broke the bank and let you go ahead and buy you in a little buying spree today, Grumpy? Is that why you're in such a good mood? You seem so pleasant. Look at this.
Very pleasant, very pleasant. Yes. That's the way I always am, very pleasant.
No, very amicable tonight. Usually you're not.
Usually because my partner on this podcast is a moron. So far, no problems.
It's early yet. Don't write it off yet, Grumpy.
It is early.
But when we're looking here, I'm kind of about. I'm sorry, Grumpy. What point were you just making? I had something to comment before you just went off, or before I derailed the conversation. What were you talking about, Grumpy?
I was saying how in the last couple of years we've been really good against Pittsburgh and Washington.
Doug Weight. I got it. Don't worry. So Doug Weight. Glad you brought that up, Grumpy old man. So I think when we're looking at what we've seen from the Islanders this year, Grumpy and I have talked about this And myself and other people online have talked about this. I've spoken to Phil's Facts. I think maybe
Ugh.
Andy, maybe even too. I don't
Why
remember.
would you talk to those guys?
I know. What can I say? This is very familiar to the Doug Waite system, where the real difference is we've got better defensemen, I think, personnel wise than we did under the Doug Waite system, and we have far better goaltending. Those are the real two differences, I think. Matt Barzal is the current day NHL player. He's like your prototypical, I want to aspire to play hockey like him. And he's, years older as well. And we've got some more grit, I think, on the team. And we've got, I think, really, really 4 solid centers. But this is very similar to the Doug Waite system. The difference is under Doug Waite's time period, the defensive personnel was worse and our goaltending was abysmal. Our
Yep.
goaltending is fantastic. One of the best in the NHL, top 3 in the NHL goalie tandem. And we didn't have that under Doug Waite. But I think I see a lot of similarities between this system that we run now and the Doug Waite system, where you just kind of throw caution to the wind regarding defensive responsibilities, transition, and making sure that, hey, maybe we don't need to make that little last effort to try to keep the puck into the zone. Maybe we can afford to exit the zone and then re-enter, and they get an odd man break, a 2-on-1, or a breakaway opportunity going the other direction.
Yes. I mean, like I said, going into the year, we knew something had to give to generate more offense without, changing the cast of characters that we had. And it had to be the defense contributing. It's going to leave you open on the back end. Goaltending is going to have to do the job. So far we have. But if you think about 17-13 in essence through the first 30 games, toughest part of the schedule, I don't know. I'm glad we came away with 3 points in these first 3 games, because if we hadn't, we would not even be in the playoff hunt right now.
Or no, we're in the playoff hunt, but we wouldn't be in a playoff spot. Playoff spots don't matter per se at the moment, but that's how you try to compare yourself to the teams that are around you.
Yeah.
So people will say, "Oh, games right now don't matter."
They all matter because they all count the same at the end of the year.
Take that with a grain of salt. I don't.
You got a team like Jersey, right? You have a team like Jersey that's got 44 points. Okay, they can go on a little bit of a slide and they'll still be in the playoff hunt, right?
Well, no. You keep saying hunt. You mean playoff spot. But I want to get back to my point. So, it's not all games matter, as you'd mentioned, but in the same token, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It's more about how you're playing hockey right now. And as you get later and later in the season, not only do you need to be playing great hockey, you need to be producing the results. So if you can win a few to where, hey, I don't necessarily play great, but I happen to win because it's against a lower tier team, well, that's fantastic. Those points really do mean something at the end of the year. It's a tough division and a really tough conference. And I think it's going to go right down to the wire. Here's the shitty thing. Here's the worst case scenario that could happen for the Islanders. We've talked about it already, and we'll talk about it again. The Islanders will be in a spot to where either they're just inside the playoff picture, or they're just inside a playoff spot, or just right on the outside of a playoff spot, because that's how competitive the Eastern Conference is and the Metro Division is. The worst case scenario is we double down, we buy at the trade deadline, we give up a whole bunch of future assets, and we don't make the postseason. That would be the worst case scenario imaginable. Or if we make the postseason, we get bounced in the first round. The absolute worst case scenario, doomsday, hit every freaking nuclear weapon you can, because just blow it all up. That is the worst case scenario for us.
Cannot trade away future assets at the deadline. Can't do it. Can't do it. You have to see the forest for the trees, Lou Lamoriello. Cannot do it. Not this year, you can't. It's not like, guys who with the first pick of the draft, he wouldn't even be like a 20, a guy in the 20s in another year. This is a deep-ass draft this year. We cannot be giving away assets to what? Chase a mythical Stanley Cup run, because that's what it is. We're not good enough. You see how we play against teams like Carolina. I mean, Carolina dominated us. But
I like the way we played against teams like Boston. I don't know if we could do that over a 7-game stretch, but I liked what I saw out of us tonight or last night against Boston.
That
gives me room for encouragement and hope.
But the last 5 or 6 minutes of that game, we were lucky to hang on. Boston absolutely dominated us in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Totally.
Okay. Yeah. So That's where I kind of think we are. That's the worst case scenario for us. But it's worth taking everything with a grain of salt. It's still early yet in the year, but you don't want to dig yourself a hole. And
Well, it's later than you think. We're almost at the midway point. 30 games in, 11 more games. It's the midway point of the season.
so we're a little bit more than a third of the way through the season right now.
Yes.
Okay.
It worries me that the Rangers have rebounded and Washington's rebounded a big way. Those are the teams we have to. I don't think Detroit's going to make the playoffs.
I don't think they do either. Even though I like Detroit, I just think it's a little too much, a little too early yet for them.
I mean, we could very easily have 5 teams come out of the Metro Division who make the playoffs.
I still think Florida makes the postseason. I really do.
If Florida makes,
I'm sorry. Yeah, even though they've struggled early on in this year, I still think that's a team with an adjustment or two away and a piece at the deadline to really just go on a freaking huge late season push. I think, though, Florida Panthers will make the postseason. Go ahead, Grump.
For me, the biggest concern, if Florida makes the playoffs, then it's a problem because then we're going to have to worry about the Washington and the Rangers because I think Pittsburgh's absolutely going to make the playoffs, as is Carolina and the Devils. You know, that was always, the Devils were always one of the worst teams. Now the Devils are legitimately in the mix for the top spot in the division. And then you have Pittsburgh, who's going to make it, and Carolina, who's going to make it. So then it's like, okay, if Florida makes it, it's us, Washington, and the Rangers battling out for the last playoff spot. I don't like our chances with that.
Yeah, I don't feel necessarily giddy about that scenario and solution. It's a tough division and a really, really tough conference. But Grump, I want to go ahead and jump into our ad read today, and then we're going to start getting through some comments. Okay. Today's podcast is brought to you by DraftKings. Hey, hockey fans, light the lamp this winter with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. And if that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into even bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN and bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Again, with promo code THPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes in the description for additional details.
Yeah, I like it. Good job, TJ.
There it is. There it is. So I think, the summation, I was excited. I actually like the way we played against Boston. That's a tough team out there, a fantastic team at home. We played them close. Wasn't like we were playing St. Mary's Sisters of the Poor out there. That's the best team in the NHL. We're pretty damn close to it.
And the fourth line played really well. I mean, as a team, I thought it was one of our best games of the year, honestly.
One more thing I want to mention. Money, 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 money. The $10 million man. I just hear that every single game. I just see his value increasing, increasing, and increasing. He will be the future $10 million man. Book it. Freaking book it right now, ladies and gentlemen. He is second in the NHL with goals for defensemen. What gets you paid in the NHL, guys? Defensive defensemen, steady eddies don't get paid, i.e. look at Adam Pelech, i.e. look at Dan Hamhuis. Look at all the guys who've been fantastic defensive defensemen. The guys who get paid in the defensive position in the NHL are the guys who put up points. And if you can play defense too, it's an added bonus that most teams look at. But when you're second in the NHL for defensemen and goals scored, yeah, he's going to get himself a big, fat contract, ladies and gentlemen.
He's 1 point away from being third on the Islanders in scoring behind Matty B and Croc Nelson. And I think he'll pass average in just a matter of days.
You wanted to talk about average a little earlier. You were saying how a bad average, how shitty average. Dude, average got away with a freaking two-handed cross check with like 2 minutes left in the game.
Oh, my God.
You dumbass.
I mean, the officials put the whistle away in that game. That benefited us. Usually it benefits a team like Boston. It benefited us. There were quite a few Mayfield just two-handed guys along the boards. I'm like, oh. No, they didn't call it. We got lucky. But the one on Anders Lee was just that's textbook penalty. I mean, The pass is coming out to him. The guy's winding up for a shot, and he gets two-handed down to the ground before it gets there from behind. That's a penalty every single game. Even in the old days, that's a penalty. They just let it go. I'm like, oh, my God. But the Boston announcers, they weren't over the top like Butch tends to get. But they're like, yeah, he should have got one there. The more I listen to the other team's broadcast, the more intolerable the Islanders broadcast becomes, honestly. They need a little realism in that booth.
They really do. I want to show you something right here, and I want to get your opinion. I want to hear your opinion, right? Because I get branded certain ways when we watch physical hockey, Grumpy. And I'm sorry, we're going to get right to the comments. I know we said we're going to get to the comments right afterwards, but there's a few things I want to cover. I want your opinion. I don't know if this is tonight. The Wild are playing the Detroit Red Wings. Okay, this is tonight's game. I want your opinion on this hit, Grumpy.
Here. Yeah, you see him take a quick look there, Jonesy.
It's not up on the screen.
Okay, damn it. Okay, give me a second.
So I can't
see.
You
didn't say that as soon as you started hearing it. Okay, gotcha.
Here. Yeah, you see him take a quick look there, Jonesy.
Oh.
That's what threw him off. I know.
It's an elbow to the head, isn't it?
Is that a clean hit? You be the judge.
I'd say no to that. That's an elbow to the head.
That's, again, how many times does Ryan Reaves need to do shit like that? That's a shoulder and elbow right to the head.
Now, here's the thing. Again, the guy is skating with his head down, though.
Okay, well, hold on. The rules protect your head. The first thing that makes contact with, shoulder on head. That's the first thing that makes contact with right there.
But the player has to assume some responsibility also. Does he not?
I'm not saying the player doesn't assume some sort of responsibility, but Ryan Reaves is a repeat offender, is he not?
He's too busy. The Red Wing was too busy looking at Dino Ciccarelli there skating up behind him as opposed to what was in front of him, and he got leveled. In the olden days, that's not a penalty. Today it is. And here's the thing, but the guy's, look at him when he's skating up ice with his head turned around. Roll it back a little bit. Look what he's doing. He might as well just say, hit me in the head, because he's just asking for, look at him. He's looking behind him.
He's been suspended 3 times. He's been suspended 3 times.
Now
he's got his head up. He's got his head up right there. You can see the guys in front of him. He can run his head.
He was looking behind him. He was looking behind him, and then his head's down on the puck. Look here. Just watch it.
Hold on. His head's up right here. His head's up looking for an outlet pass.
He's not looking ahead of him.
He's okay.
It gets worse. Just roll it nice and slow.
His head's up right here, looking for an outlet pass is what I said, and that's not incorrect for those who are just listening in the audio form. He then puts his head back down on the puck.
Looking backwards.
Correct.
Hi, Dino. I remember you used to be a star for the Stars.
For the Minnesota Wild. Yeah.
But he's still not looking at.
He sees somebody coming and charging that pass right now.
Watch nice and slow. Then you'll see it nice and slow. He's still kind of down at the puck. Now it's like, uh-oh. Now the head comes up. Holy shit. There's a yellow and green freight train coming right at me. He's like, what do I do? Take one of the chops, son. You should have had your head up the whole way down the ice instead of looking back at Dino. That's your problem.
So let me ask you this. He's received 3 different suspensions. How long of a suspension do you think this is going to get him? Or let me ask you this. I'll let you watch it live again, and I'll let you determine, number 1, should he get a suspension? And then I'll let you say how long it should be.
Look at him looking backward, the dumbass.
He punches through the face, which I don't think helps.
The thing was, he starts looking backwards. That's not called keeping your head up. Sorry.
Okay, you can't play hockey that way anymore.
Keep your freaking head up.
What a fucking... Okay, here's the other thing, too. What a fucking bitch Reaves is. As soon as he starts trying to get his ass out of... You fucking bitch. You know what? What an absolute bitch. You know what, dude? Okay, here's the thing. I'll let you answer the question first. What you think, Grumpy? How long? Should he get suspended? What should the suspension be? And I'll chime in, too.
He will get a suspension. 5 games, probably. I don't think it deserves 10. I don't think he was being a bitch there. Yeah, he's not a guy who's afraid to fight. He's not. Maybe he was. Maybe he realized what was going to happen. I mean, I don't. I was
smack that fucking guy right in the face with a stick. I'm saying 15-game suspension. A fucking absurd. That's fucking absurd. 15-game suspension. See you later, Reaves. It's the same thing with Tom Wilson. Anytime you do something really dumb like that, you're repeat offenders, 15, maybe 20, fucking suspension from the league. I don't care. You can't be doing dumb shit like this. How often head makes contact with the shoulder first and punches through the face? Fuck him. See you later. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You're not allowed to play hockey like that anymore. Should the guy have his head up? Should Hornick have his head up? Absolutely. Not
I
saying
bet he has it up the next time. Some guys got to be taught a lesson.
You know what it's like? It's like if you guys are playing beer league. I'm going to use this as an example. Everybody's playing beer league hockey, and everybody's playing kind of the same way. Nobody's throwing huge hits in beer league. They're just kind of out there. The escapades are out there. That's the way the current NHL is played. And you get Johnny 2 times over here who comes skating through and just levels a motherfucker. That's not how the game is played. That's not how everybody plays it. It's not how the refs officiate it. You got to be really stern on somebody like that. 3 suspensions already in his career. Well, the 4th one, you're going to get a little 15-day vacation. 15 game suspension. How many more times? The same thing with Tom Wilson. How many more times do we need to see him continually break this throughout the rest of his career until we just say, like, yeah, we got to be really stern with you?
I think the Red Wing guy should be suspended for not keeping his head up and looking behind him as he's skating forwards.
You think Hornick should be suspended for not seeing Reaves coming at him?
Yeah. You can say it's a concussion, whatever. I think it's a de facto suspension.
Good gracious. He's
got to keep your head up. He was looking behind him as he's skating up ice. What do you think? Everyone else is just off the ice? I mean, 3
suspensions, 4th one, 15 games. 15 games. See you later. 15 games. See you later.
He gets off free.
You hope he gets off free now?
That'll teach. What's his name?
Hornick. Yeah.
He'll keep him to keep his head up next time.
Sure.
Looking behind him. It wasn't even like he's looking behind. He turns and cranes his head around to look at Dino Ciccarelli. I don't know who number 15 is for the Wild. But I mean, he turned around, and I also love that alternative jersey. Love it. The maple, the North Star colors on the Wild uniform. Beautiful. Love it. That's how you do a third jersey. That's how you do it.
I think, you know what, Grumpy, you've actually convinced me. I'm willing to say maybe not 50. Maybe I'm going to up it to 20-game suspension just to make you happy. I don't know. Here's the thing. You can't give him a little 3-game or it's got to be more serious and more severe than a 5-game suspension. My opinion. I don't know. Fourth time he's going to be suspended for hitting towards the head and reckless play like that. How many times has Tom Wilson been suspended?
What does Tom Wilson have to do with this?
I'm just showing because how long of a suspension did he get? He wound up getting like a 12 or 13-game suspension, didn't he?
I don't remember. Tom Wilson's a good guy.
Oh, that's what it is.
Tell me you wouldn't love Tom Wilson on your team. I'd love Tom Wilson on the Islanders. Love him. Love him. He'd be on the first line. Let me tell you something. He'd score a shitload of goals playing with Matt Barzal. I'll tell you that much.
5 suspension for Tom Wilson. I'm sorry, right? You're in Tom Wilson territory. He's in Hey, welcome, Tom Wilson. Might as well just call him Ryan. Same shit. That's all it is. Anyway, let's get some comments. Drew L says, honestly, I'm happy we played against Boston. I really can't complain considering Varlamov is playing instead of Sorokin.
Varlamov was outstanding last night.
I like the way he played. I think he was talking about his stats for winning the Vezina.
All right, maybe, but I'm going to tell you what, Varlamov has been outstanding this year. You
Big
can't say
year.
He's not even giving up, his 1 weekie a game.
Yeah.
He's been really, really good. Yeah. This is the time to move him.
Matthew S. saying, what's up, gentlemen? He's saying, good evening, gents. Good evening, Matthew S. Frank saying, hey, what's up, Frank? Grumpy old man with the wardrobe malfunction early on. That's right. And also, Drew L. says, also, Grumpy, good job beating Thorne, whoever that is.
That was in the Islanders Never Say Die football fantasy group, and I did that when my running back went out, like in the first quarter. I had to depend on the Patriots defense to put me over the top.
All righty, cutting that off. We don't need more than 3 seconds talking about.
Is that because your team's been eliminated from the playoffs already?
I don't care about fantasy sports. Never have will on that. Frank's got a comment that you read and talk about, Grumpy.
Okay. He goes, I told TJ and Grumpy Old Man we would play good and win. I was close. How the hell can you have Bailey taking the last penalty shot Why not Wahlstrom? I'm so glad you brought that up, Frank, because I had forgotten it. I remember yelling, I'm like, Bailey as the number 3 penalty shot taker? And of course, not knowing what it's like, he doesn't even hit the net. Well over the top. I mean, can you blame him? No, because he doesn't shoot. He doesn't get enough experience shooting the puck. Therefore, it's more difficult for him to put it on net. Josh Bailey sucks. Wahlstrom, why not Wahlstrom? I mean, Olmark was really, really good, but they needed somebody different in there at the end. I was really shocked that Josh Bailey was the guy taking the final shootout shot. I thought that was what a mistake. And who else? I mean, who else was out there? Matty B was out there. I think the goalie made a really good save, and I think Brock Nelson was on there as well. I mean, just which one of these doesn't belong? It's got to be Josh Bailey, right? All right, we'll go to the next comment. Drew L says, I'm not going to lie, off topic from Islanders and sports here, but at this point, I'd rather be stranded out in the wilderness with no food and water than order at a McDonald's at night ever again. Okay, he's unhappy with McDonald's. Okay, that's acceptable. Frank of Empire State says, what a shocker. Grumpy old man and TJ are late. Just say TJ, because I'm here on time every single night. It's TJ who's late.
Grumpy was late. Oh, okay, you didn't even mention this, Grumpy. I thought I was listening to you. You know what? How in the world they put out Bailey? They should have, they should put in Grumpy instead of Josh Bailey.
Simon Holstrom?
Maybe. But I was thinking more like Zach. They should have put Zach Parise in to take that penalty shot, Grumpy. I don't understand why they don't use Wahlstrom there. That's what he's known for. And on the Boston telecast, I want to say 2 or 3 times they showed the Oliver Wahlstrom goal when he was like 9 or 10 years old. And they said, Oliver Wahlstrom came onto the scene here on the national hockey scene when he scored this goal, as in they talked about it, whatever age it was. I just think to myself, I'm like, oh, how apropos. The game's going to shootout, and they've been talking about this 2 or 3 times on the Boston telecast. Well, you're going to roll him out here, and he's going to score to keep our hopes alive. Well, Josh Bailey pissed on that parade.
Yeah, well, like I said, Wahlstrom is a Boston guy, so they have that like on speed dial. Oh, Islanders, yeah, boop, just hit the Wahlstrom thing. And you're right, they talked about it a number of times last night. Good for them. Good for them.
Peter A. Grumpy.
So they're having their ups and downs, and I find it difficult to believe it if they just stay the course, they make the playoffs, especially when Pittsburgh gets in full stride like every other year. What are the chances they pick up a legitimate scorer and soon? I think, for me, there's no shot they're going to get a legitimate scorer. Just none. If they make a trade, it's going to be for some Kyle Palmieri type, a J.D. Pajot type. And I like Pajot, but he's not a top-line scorer. And those guys just don't grow on trees, and they're not available, certainly for not what we're able to give up.
I say this, Peter, and I hate to be the guy, the bearer of bad news. When we looked at the Islanders trade deadlines in the past, how many times would we say that we've come away with the guy, the elite player? We've always said for years, since Barry Trotz was first named head coach of the Islanders, and even after that first year, it's always been even acknowledged by Lou Lamoriello, we need more offensive firepower. We need more top-end offensive talent. We bring guys like Kyle Palmieri, Jean-Gabriel Pajot, Zach Parise, the list goes on. Nobody that actually addresses the need. I don't think we've got a general manager who can do that. And if we do, right, if let's say people say, oh, we should go after Horvat, we should go after him, we should go after that guy. Do you want to know how much our general manager would overpay for a player like that? I'm talking about, we're talking multiple first-round picks. We're talking prospects. We're talking players who play now. We're talking about, half of your arm, maybe a quarter of your leg. We're giving up everything.
Half an arm, quarter of a leg. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to use it. They're going to get some stem cells off you. I don't know.
Giving away a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say, giving up a lot for an elite guy. And I'm just not sure that, number one, we'd even make the trade for something like that. And if we did, we get taken to the freaking cleaners. Okay. We got here breaking news. Grumpy's Cats will be given to Casper Holmstrom because we know that's where he needs to be.
Oh, that's very true. Very true. Thank you, Matthew. I'm sure Casper needs a couch.
Peter A saying, congratulations. Happy anniversary. Thanks, Peter. Thank you.
Okay.
Matthew S says, Casper Holmstrom. Lee was hard to watch.
Yeah. They're both terrible. I mean, Lee missed a shot, missed the net yesterday. It's like, even the Boston, I was like, oh my God, how did he miss the net there? They don't sugarcoat it in Boston. I'm going to tell you that much.
I will tell you here. Do you remember they changed up the lineups last night? They put Anders Lee back on the same line as Matt Barzal. Oh, isn't that great? So we got to see that again. And I'm sure, as you can imagine, it didn't go fantastic. But, it's like water and oil. Tommy B, Coach Tommy B of Coach Baffy's Corner, Grumpy. He says, good evening, gents. What's up, Coach Tommy B? Frank K saying, this team is what they are. Not very good. Worst shootout team since Franz Nielsen left.
Well, yeah. Now, Frank, I'd normally agree, but you can't really say that. This is the first game that went to shootout today, isn't it, TJ? I don't think it's
our shootout record last year was bad too.
Yeah. So,
and we picked up this year right where we left off last year, I think is what he's saying.
It's just one game, though. Just one game.
Yeah. Tommy B says here, the Islanders played really good game last night. Absolutely hard-earned point. Should have been 2. I'm not sure about that. I thought it could have gone either way. I think we definitely deserved a point. I love the effort. I like the performance out there. Frank K says it's an automatic loss once it gets a shootout. Holmstrom has done nothing that makes me say, ooh, that he has any glimpse of talent.
I told you in the offseason, I told you last playoff season when I saw him play, he's no on Simon Holmstrom. You don't need to watch it. Just take my word for it. No shot. He sucks. Talk about a wasted draft pick when you could have had Phil Tomasino, Arthur Kaliev, Connor McMichael, any host of players. You pick the one guy who sucks worse than anything. The guy who plays the banjo in Deliverance. Banjo boy.
D-Cut's got a comment for you to read, Grumpy.
Fire TJ, hire D-Cut. Common refrain.
It starts early. Frank K says, hire Niles, Grumpy. That's what we need to do.
No. I'll stay with TJ.
Alan A says, Dementia Lou should be fired. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Ooh. That's taken to another level.
I was about to say, I like it, though. JK says, it was a frustrating loss against Boston because I felt we outplayed them prior to their first goal. I did, too. We should have beaten them.
I thought we outplayed them up to the first goal, and after that, they kind of outplayed us, and down the stretch, they dominated us at the end of the third period.
Now, Tommy B says Anders Lee in on the 3-on-3 action. Is Lane Lambert on drugs? I thought the same thing. I was like, holy shit, is Barry Trotz back behind the bench again?
It was terrible. He just can't do it. You have to be able to skate to be in 3-on-3.
I've heard people who, not publicly, I don't think, people have been sharing sentiments with me that unhappy with Lane Lambert as a coach, perhaps. They're starting to see some of the flaws. And here's the thing. We always knew there were going to be flaws. He's never going to be impervious. He wasn't going to be, he wasn't going to be Al Arbor out there. But, I think they would like to see a little bit more defensive structure. It's like a 180 turn from the style that we played last year. It's like a complete turnaround. Grumpy, wouldn't you say?
I don't know if it's a complete turnaround, but it's absolutely a turnaround. I don't know if it's complete, but for me, I don't know who would say that Lane Lambert's a bad coach at this point. Is it one of your little gadflies?
He didn't say he was a bad coach. Let me rephrase. He said that, he's not doing a great job behind. Maybe he's not doing a great job behind the bench.
I don't know what you expect him to do. Last year we were an 84-point team, and just miserable, tough hockey to watch, terrible. We're on pace for more than that this year, and they're infinitely more watchable. Isn't that a step in the right direction? He can only do with what he's got. You don't have any offensive talent on this team except for one guy, maybe two if you want to throw Brock Nelson in there, but he's not a creator. You got one guy basically who's just able to do marvelous things with the puck.
Who's that?
It's Matt Barzal. Everyone knows that.
Matty B.
So, I mean, I don't know what to expect. They're all a year older. We're an older team. He's had to incorporate the defense into the offense, and that has absolutely helped us score more goals. Our goaltending's been tremendous. I mean, we're above 500. We were barely above 500 last year. I mean, I don't know what you're expecting from the man. Getting blood from a turnip? Come on.
Oh man, I'll tell you. Now this is something worth mentioning, and Alexander sent this to me, and I'm glad he did. Do you remember? But pal of the show, guy who came on, Stefan Rosner, Grumpy, fantastic beat writer covering the Islanders. Grumpy, you remember Stefan Rosner, right?
I do remember him. Yes.
Okay, he wrote that the Islanders are in trade talks.
Oh God.
They have inquired. As mentioned on Wednesday morning, the Islanders have inquired about Vancouver Canucks Bo Horvat.
That's fine. What are you willing to give up to Bo Horvat?
Oh, you're drinking again. God damn. You're drinking over there, your purple drink. They're gonna have to give up more than I would feel comfortable because he's the guy, right? If you're talking about who is the guy this year at the trade deadline, it's a guy like Bo Horvat, wouldn't you say?
Yes. I'm all for that. What would you have to give up to get him? Legitimately, would you be willing to trade your first round pick for Bo Horvat?
It's going to be more than a first rounder.
Okay, but would you be willing to part with your first round draft pick for Bo Horvat?
Depends on where we are. I don't think Bo Horvat's not a guy where I say, great, I want to add a guy who, who's having a career year in his contract season, right? He's having a career year where his contract, he's up for a new contract. I don't want to give a guy like that a huge deal, right? So if you're saying, oh, you're going to have him as a rental, well, shit, unless there's a lot of things that change, I don't want that guy as a rental. Bo Horvat's never been the guy in Vancouver, ever. So he's going to get overpaid. But teams are that's what the demand's going to be. That's what people are going to want to provide for. That's what they're going to demand for him. And there's not a lot of supply of a guy like that available having the season he's having. What realistically would it cost? A first plus. A first, maybe a second, and then some prospects. It's going to be expensive. Bo Horvat's going to be expensive, ladies and gentlemen. So don't get your eyes and your hopes set up on Bo Horvat.
He's a type of guy that I'm willing to, because he's 27.
He's 28 before the end of the year, but sure, go ahead. He's 28 but he's 28 before the postseason.
Okay, he's a guy that can be part of the solution going forward.
Hold on. Have you not watched any of those Vancouver games, Grumpy? Ever since
good.
Bobby Lou left, have you not followed Vancouver at all?
Okay, he's good. He's good. I don't know why you're ripping on Bo Horvat.
Bo Horvat's not a great skater. Bo Horvat's a guy who consistently is a defensive liability. That's fine, right? I'm not expecting my forwards to be I'm not expecting everybody to be a great two-way guy. He's only cracked 60 points once before in his NHL career. He's on over a point a game pace right now. He's having a freaking career year and a contract season. We talk about this all the time. Hold on, Grumpy. You need to maybe center yourself for a second. He is having a career year and a contract season. He's 61 points. He's had over 60 points once in his NHL career. You're willing to give him a long-term deal? That's not the solution to me.
I don't know. I like him. He's a
Vancouver does not play, by the way, really quickly. Vancouver plays that same exact run and gun type of style that every other team in the NHL does. It's not like they were playing the Barry Trotz system. He was putting up 60 points. So no, they were playing score as many points as humanly possible and suffer defensively and suffer in net, as a response. So he's putting up 61 points once in an NHL career when they play a loose and open system. That concerns me. That definitely does. He's not a long-term guy for me.
I like him as a player. I absolutely like him as a
player.
player.
You've always liked Bo Horvat, though.
I have.
Go on the record. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say. So you may be blinded by your love for him long-term.
I think he's really good. I think he's a really good fit for this team. I think he plays right on the first line with Matty B. Guess who takes all the face-offs, by the way, in that tandem?
Who Grumpy?
It's going to be Bo Horvat, right?
Sure.
Wallstrom, Horvat, Barzal. Man, that's a good first line. That's a
Hey.
good first line.
Do you want to take a guess as to what the shoot? Remember how you always talked about Brock Nelson? The shooting percentage isn't great. Do you want to take a guess what Bo Horvat's shooting percentage is this year?
Tell me, please. I'm dying to know.
21.5%.
Sounds like Brock Nelson.
Hey, okay. Yeah.
He's tough. He's a leader. I like
he's
him.
a leader. He's a leader. I think on a certain team, maybe he's a good fit, but don't expect him. Don't go in with aspirations. Oh, this is going to be a 40 goal a year type of guy. He's not that. He's just not.
I like him. You're right. Maybe I'm
in his 20s. He consistently has 20 goals a year. He had last year was his first year ever having ever hitting the 30 goal plateau.
Who's that sound like? Who's that sound like? Who does that sound like? Go ahead. Say it.
Oh,
the guy that you love, Brock Nelson.
Okay.
But this guy's a tougher player than Brock Nelson.
Oh my God.
I'd move Brock Nelson for him yesterday. I'd move him.
Okay.
You're right. I do like both.
Derailed. I know. We keep getting derailed. Brandy Gaines says the Islanders, for the most part, are starting to control 5-on-5 play a lot better in the past 2 weeks, minus the Canes game. If you could split Arizona and Vegas, you'd take that and run.
Well, I think that's the expectation is you split those two games.
I think so too.
I think winning both of them that's what you take and run, but splitting them, I mean, we should absolutely beat Arizona.
You know what I'm looking forward to over the next once the holiday season comes through, and Brandy Gaines is going to come on too. But I'm looking forward to having everybody on that we talked about in the offseason. What we talked about Islanders with. So Coach Tommy B, everybody grumpy from the offseason. We want to have him back on, kind of start talking about the Islanders, talking about what we've seen so far and what we had talked about at the beginning of the year. I like that. I like to have that on about at a halfway point.
All your little buddies.
Your buddies too, Grump. All our buddies of the show, buddies of the group, everybody.
I don't talk to them. I don't talk to any of those people. That's a you thing.
Good gracious.
We're not pen pals.
But Grumpy, you should be a pen pal. Get their address and write them. Vinny Smith said, Bales in shootout. Wow.
That's the nicest way to put it, right?
Oh, God. Frank, you need to go to sleep, wake up, and start your day all over again. Oh, good gracious. Drew L. saying, Cizikas proving to Lou why he's worth that 6-year extension.
No, he's not worth a 6-year extension.
No.
He's absolutely not worth a 6-year extension.
Matthew S. said, no excuses not to beat Arizona. Absolutely.
Correct.
And he also says, Bergeron is the best two-way center in the game. For certain, he is.
100% accurate. I want Bo Horvat on his team now.
Brandy Gaines says, Arizona has beaten Boston, Toronto this year. They just make the game ugly. I doubt Friday will be any exception.
They beat us too.
Yeah, I was about to say. D-Cut says, grow the beer back, TJ. I don't want to look at your face 10 plus hours a week. Take it deep, he says.
Yeah, that's
Shay says, Varlamov versus Arizona or Vegas?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's what I was kind of shocked Sorokin didn't play yet.
Yeah, me too. I'm surprised.
You have 2 days rest. You've got 2 days rest. And I'm like, you're going to be playing a back-to-back. I would think Sorokin against Arizona solely because if you look at the schedule after that, the Islanders, I mean, like they've got 3 games in 4 days. So if you play Sorokin against, I don't know now. I would want to say you want to play Sorokin probably twice out of that 3-game stretch. But the games go Arizona on Friday, then you've got Vegas on Saturday, and then on Monday, you've got Colorado. For whatever reason, they always like to put Varlamov against Colorado. And if that's the case, Varley's going to play game 1 against Arizona.
I mean, the reason why Varlamov...
Are back to giving Varlamov more freaking ice time than Sorokin? Jesus, I hope not.
Well, Sorokin, lost 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row?
Don't care.
Yeah, neither do I. Even though that 7-goal game was an ugly one. I would, 6 goals actually. For me, Varlamov played last night against Boston because he has really good numbers against them. it's kind of funky the way the schedule plays out. I would say it was Vegas, Arizona, and then, whoever, Colorado, maybe 7. I still think you got to go Sorokin, Varlamov, Sorokin. I don't know. I mean, you want your best playing against your best teams.
Ideally.
Varlamov should play against Arizona and maybe just give Sorokin the next 2 games. That's what I would do.
Ideally. Phil's Facts did chime in here, Grumpy. He did say that last year, you may remembered, that's, I think, when Varley got a little banged up, but Sorokin played last year. They played Arizona and Vegas in back-to-back nights, and Sorokin played both of them, and they were both shutouts. So he's saying maybe Arizona gives him his confidence back to play again versus Vegas, and then you go Varley against Colorado. Yeah, I think that Varley definitely plays against Colorado. I'm just not sure how they're going to work the first 2 out. So maybe they start Sorokin in back-to-back nights, which is why he didn't start against against Boston, right? So think about Sorokin. He's got himself like a little 4 or 5 day rest, so maybe he could play back-to-back and then put Varlamov out there against Colorado.
Okay.
Maybe not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Phil's Facts on to something, Grumpy. Phil's Facts is on to something.
He's just throwing shit up against the wall, hoping it sticks.
It makes sense to me. What can I say? It makes sense to me. Oh my gosh. Because I was about to say, think about it. If he plays Friday and Saturday, you got the Islanders who play the Avalanche on Monday. The next game is not until Thursday against the Rangers after that. So, you get Saturday, you'll have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You have 4 days off as a goalie. So,
can't lose to the Rangers. I thought we were going to beat the Rangers every game this year, but now they're hot. Oh, cannot lose to the Rangers next Thursday.
Shay also says, I watched the game on TV at Mullet Arena. The camera angles are garbage. I don't like hearing that. Alexander says,
though, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, how are you guys? I was impressed how the Islanders kept up with Boston. So was I.
Yep.
D-Cut says, oh, Alexander 2 is done. That chicken arm midget can't cut it, buddy. Oh, good gracious. I think we beat Arizona and Colorado. I agree, Coach Tom B.
Okay.
I think so too. I think those are 2 games that we, next 3 games, I think we're going 2-1.
Hey, we're playing hard right now. Earlier in the year, I thought we were a little bit lucky.
Yeah.
Just playing hard in the third period and really being outplayed, goaltending saving us. That's not been the case. Certainly was not a case against Boston or New Jersey. Against the Hurricanes, well, that was a whole nother bowl of wax.
Shay says Varley has looked good recently. I agree.
Really good.
The BK Italian kid said, did you guys see that Lou is looking for Horvat? Apparently, the trade would look like a first Ratu Bailey and either Kaliodelius or Samuel Bolduc. What do you guys think?
Ooh, man.
No, thanks. I've got no interest. None. Horvat is not worth that value. I will repeat, Horvat is not worth the value that you are going to have to give up to get him. I don't give a shit where he goes. He is going to be the guy who I would assume gets the most return back for what you have to, for what he's sold for. He's not worth that.
If they don't trade for him, are you all in trying to sign him as a free agent at the end of the year?
Fuck no. No. What? No, Grumpy. No.
Okay.
Dude, are you?
I am.
I know you love Bo Horvat. I'm sorry. His numbers are not anywhere near as good as you'd think.
I like him as a player. You know what? What are Ryan O'Reilly's numbers?
Okay, are you trying to compare Ryan O'Reilly to Bo Horvat?
Basically, yeah. I just want to know.
Ryan O'Reilly's a much better two-way guy than Bo Horvat is. Please stop.
Bo Horvat is not poor defensively.
It's not a strong suit of his game.
No, it's not his strongest suit. I mean, but they're on a bad team.
I'm not even saying it's a strongest suit. I'm saying it's not a strong suit.
I don't know. I just think it hurts that he played for Vancouver. If you look at what were O'Reilly's numbers like in Buffalo, that's what I want to know.
Okay. Vancouver has so much offensive talent on that team, they just cannot protect the net.
Well, that's not his fault.
When your job is to put the puck in the net, it is. So Ryan O'Reilly, before that time period, think about this, in Colorado. Remember, he was in Colorado, 55 points 1 year in Colorado, then 64 points, another 55 pointers in Buffalo, 60 points, 55 points, 61 points. No, thank you. And Ryan O'Reilly's a much better defender than Bo Horvat. Absolutely no interest. He's going to demand. He's going to get a freaking arm and a leg. No interest in Bo Horvat. No, the thing is, think about it. We have been grumpy usually every single time around the trade deadline. We've been, ooh, this talented top tier guy. This is the guy we're interested in. Sure, let's go after him. I'm not interested in that in Horvat. Sorry, just not. And maybe somebody can make the case as to where I'll change my mind.
But he's not going to get like $9 million a year.
What makes you think he wouldn't? He's gonna be one of the top free agents in the market.
If you see what Johnny Gaudreau got, he's not going to get more.
Johnny Gaudreau took less. Johnny Gaudreau was offered over $11 million to stay in Calgary, but he chose to take less to go somewhere else. Not applicable.
I'm just saying that I don't think Horvat gets $9 million a year.
Okay. I think he does. Matthew has said, I hope we get Adam Pellick back. You and me both.
He'll be back.
Tony Cheese said, we got an ultrasound yesterday, and I'm getting nervous. Tony Cheese, good luck. Tony Cheese. Baby looks nothing like me, he says. Frank says, oh, Grumpy, you're about to make a snide comment about Tony Cheese.
No, I'll save it for.
I thought you were about to say, did he not come out of the womb bald?
No,
it was an easy little cheap.
I was not going to say that. No,
I was going to throw it at Tony.
I'm not slamming anyone's child. Okay.
I'm not slamming his child. I was slamming Tony Cheese in that way. It's easy, Tony. Defensive back Cooper, I know. But Frank says, I've been doing a concrete outside and this cold ass Connecticut weather till 7:30 last night. I'm shot, but my weekend starts now. With this show. Yeah,
thanks, Frank.
It is. Thank you, Frank. D-Cut says the FBI knocked on my door about an hour ago, asked if I knew Frank Kaplan, that is, said that he made death. Oh my gosh, to certain sports owners whose last name is similar to number 71 on the Penguins.
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, goodness.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Brandon Gaines said, I'm not the biggest Holmstrom fan, but in terms of controlling 5-on-5 play, you'd easily take him over Bailey right now.
No. This kid's an abomination. He sucks. I'd much rather have Bailey over Holmstrom, please. Think about how bad Holmstrom has to be for me to say I'd put Josh Bailey on my roster over Simon Holmstrom. Why couldn't it be a first-round pick, Simon Holmstrom, Bailey,
or even Beauvillier, right? But people always want to throw, Beauvillier. Beauvillier has no value, no to very little value. Anthony Beauvillier does not have a lot of value, guys.
Bailey's a salary dump. See, that's to make the numbers work. But here's the thing: I have no problem with that moving Bailey. And instead of why not give him an established NHLer in Simon Holmstrom? Why not give him that? I think that'd be more appealing. Give him a first-round pick. Holmstrom, Bailey, man, I'm absolutely doing that trade. And then, whoever, Odelius, that's fine. Bolduc, I'd rather keep Bolduc and let Odelius go. And I would absolutely make that deal. The first round pick would hurt, but you're two big addition by subtractions by getting rid of Bailey and Holmstrom. I'd have to find somebody new to pick on, average Anders Lee.
Oh, man. You don't think Simon Holmstrom is going to pan out, Grumpy? I thought when you said you'd rather take Bailey over Holmstrom, and you said, what does that mean? I thought that meant you were finally warming up to Josh Bailey.
No, it just meant that I hate both of them. But, I mean, come on. Let's be honest. Bailey's infinitely better than Casper Holmstrom. Infinitely.
Oh, goodness gracious. Tommy B said he also sang Oh Sherry outside his bathroom door, talking about Frank. John McManaman says, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, John. Tell Ian we say hello. Matthew S says, it's not that hard. Bailey 1,000 times over Holmstrom. Okay, good. I'm glad we're not the only ones. Drew L says, so fun fact for any Knicks fans out there in the chat, we're 14-2 when leading at halftime, but 0-11 when we're down at half. So far, they're up 60-50 against the Bulls. Holy shit, 0-11 when losing at half. I know it's not Knicks, my God. Alexander says Simon Holmstrom is terrible.
That's being generous as well.
Say it right, TJ. Holmstrom is a bottom 6 player. Oh God, he's oh Jesus. Tommy B says making fisherman jerseys. John McMahon says the Islanders surprised me last night. I think it was the best they've played all season.
It was right up there with maybe the first Carolina game, which was a stunner to me, honestly. And then the Jersey game, the second Jersey game.
Kutchite Revenge says here regarding would we trade for Bo Horvat? He says, no way. Lou gives up those package of players for Horvat, who is going to start aging out in 3 years. So talking about, hey, we'd have to give him Calio Delius or Samuel Bolduc, Atu Ratu, etc. That's a lot.
I don't want to trade Ratu. But if you tell me Ratu doesn't fit on this team going forward, but giving up Holmstrom, nope. That's like I said, addition by subtraction.
Subtraction, yeah. Alexander Grumpy's got a comment there for you.
I just don't understand Lambert's decision, but Bailey and with the game on the line, it's like putting Mick Vakota in a shootout with the game on the line. Yeah, it was mystifying to everyone. Totally mystifying.
JK says Holmstrom is literally just a guy. I didn't notice him. Analytics be damned. Yeah, when people try to throw up, look at his analytics through 6 games. I'm like, yeah, might want to pump the brakes until he starts facing real competition.
It's almost like he skates in circles in the center ice in like his own zone, just zzz, like he's a NASCAR driver where he's got like a blown out tire on one side. Just, I mean, he just does nothing. He's terrible.
Oh man, you got to worry about he's going to cut a hole right through the ice.
I don't understand how he's even on the team.
Frank said the Islanders were awesome. I really thought they were going to win. We play Boston well. I'm not sure I'd say consistently we play them well, but I would say definitely we played Boston extremely well. I was happy with what I saw on the ice despite the overtime loss. D-Cut says the Panthers hired a quitter as a coach. Players don't respect coaches who quit mid-season.
So that's Maurice, right? Paul Maurice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His seat's got to be getting awful freaking warm.
He's not been successful there.
His seat has to be getting really freaking toasty.
How far do you go before you make a move?
A mid-season? If shit doesn't look right mid-season, he's gone.
Okay.
Half a year with the team and he's gone. And here's the thing. Paul Maurice should never get another head coaching job again. Sorry. Shouldn't.
True, I agree.
Brandon Gaines says his goals.
I don't know what it means. Just pass on that one. I don't even know what it means.
I'll read it, Grumpy. I like that. I like doing this. It's like trying to transfer or like translate
his XGF percentage sign and his HDCF percentage sign. Hold on. 5 on 5 or above 60.
I will give you the breakdown. His expected goals for percentage and high danger chances for percentage and 5 on 5 are above 60. So I guess that's good. Much more good is happening than bad when he's on the ice. Yeah, no freaking way you can convince me on that. The eyes tell me otherwise. For context, Bailey barely scratches 45% overall in those 2 categories.
Okay, that's just
expected goals
he's playing with. They're not going to start him in a defensive zone face-off. He's playing with Pajot and Parise, who are guys who are hard chargers. It says nothing to me about him as a player. Nothing.
Yeah. Okay. And look at this. He's a -2. There's a reason he's a -2. Because every time we're fucking giving up goals, he's out there on the ice freaking not knowing where his fucking assignment is, completely lost. Yeah. Holmstrom's not ready. He's a bottom 6 guy at best.
He sucks.
Frank said, yeah, Lou shouldn't be allowed to trade. He will get robbed like most 80-year-olds. Oh, true. Nick D says, TJ Grumpy, how are you doing tonight? Lou should be calling up some more youngster players from Bridgeport. Give them a shot since there's a few injuries on this team.
Who else you got left to call up?
Ruslan.
Okay. I don't know how he fits with this team. I'm going to say he's going to have absolutely a better defensively maybe than Holmstrom. But other than that, I don't know. I just don't think he's up to task on that. Ratu works.
He's not a defensive guy. He's more of an offensive creator.
Yeah. He's small.
Yeah, he's not big. Small in stature. Absolutely. Grumpy, are we keeping you up here today? Holy shit.
Man, I don't know what it is. I'm just exhausted all right now. Probably I don't have enough drink. I need some more juice to keep me awake.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, wait until I'm asking you
Yeah.
to speak and then go ahead. Just keep that to your lips for the next 50 minutes. Matthew has said, freaking Washington, unbelievable. And how about Ovi? 800 goals, ridiculous.
The worst thing about Washington playing as well as they are, they're going to be getting Backstrom and Wilson back. That's bad news for us.
They also have other players out. I can't remember all the players Washington has out. I'll have to look it up. They've got a lot of players out.
I think Orlov out for a while?
He was out, but I think he's starting to come back. Maybe. I don't know. I'll get it pulled up in a second for us.
Yeah. Next comments from Drew L.
Okay, you could, Jesus Christ, you couldn't wait 3 seconds as you're reading that,
No.
like to talk
No.
about who they'd have out.
No,
I know
could
because
not
you're
wait.
so tired. Maybe you got to wake up.
I couldn't wait 3
Wake up,
seconds.
Grump.
I couldn't wait.
Carl Hagelin also out injured.
He's a bottom six guy. Who gives a shit?
Darcy Kemper, Alexander Alexiev, Nick Backstrom, Tom Wilson, Lars Eller is day to day.
Lars Ellers, yeah, he's another guy. He's very valuable. Third liner.
I'm just saying they're missing two guys who really do a great job putting the puck in the net.
Is Connor McMichael playing for them?
No, he wound up getting sent down.
That's disappointing. That's disappointing. With all those injuries, you can't make your way in a lineup. That's a problem.
I think they said he didn't come into the camp ready this year.
Oh, well, pretty dumb.
Yep. Drew said,
you knew two guys were going to be two starters on the forward group were going to be out indefinitely, and you didn't come into camp, in shape. Oh my God.
I don't know. That's the rumor. It's rumors. So rumors are rumors. Drew L says, rest in peace to Matt Murray's career as a starter. I guess he's lost his job there. Who the hell is he? I guess, I guess in Toronto. Yeah, to Samsonov.
But Samsonov's been playing really well. He's taken that job and ran with it. It's a competition. Get better.
D-Cut says, that boring human ambient wanted Casper to participate in the shootout. No, Phil's facts didn't say that. No, we
probably did.
Don't malign Phil's facts.
That's the type of thing he'd say.
I was joking around. Joseph C said, never thought anybody would break Gretzky's goal record, but now Ovechkin at 800, breaking that record is in sight.
Good for him. To break a record like that, what do you have to be able to do?
Oh, hold on. You got to be fantastic to answer your question. You got to be unbelievable. But JK's got a question. He says, Grumpy, who has a better wrist shot than Brock Nelson? I'll hang up and listen.
I think Brock Nelson has a great wrist shot.
Who's got a better wrist shot than Brock Nelson?
Oliver Wahlstrom. There you go. That's easy. Okay.
I think they're both unbelievable. I think they're really,
and
really
good shots. Nelson has a really good wrist shot. He absolutely does. Wahlstrom's is better.
I think Wahlstrom's and Nelson's are comparable regarding the ability they've got. Quick release, power behind it as well. Brandon Gaines says he's played less than a month worth of games, and more good than bad happens when he's on the ice right now. If he regresses in that category with no shooting instinct, well, then back to Bridgeport you go. For now, I'll keep him. Well, he's got 4 shots in 10 games. You're not going to see me ever supporting a guy who doesn't register shots on that. I know the expected goals for percentage are up. He's got 4 fucking shots in 10 games. No, sorry. No interest.
He sucks. He sucks and blows at the same time.
Matthew S. said, when you made that comment, he said, be careful. You might hit a sore spot. Almost. Brian P. said, Washington was also very injured, and they're slowly getting guys back. Absolutely. So Orlov, he's back now too. So the team is, and Carlson was out for a while too with injury. He's back healthy as well.
They've had a bunch of injuries against a tough portion of their schedule. Now they're getting healthy. Watch out for Washington.
Grumpy, comment there. I'm going to let you read a few there too.
Paulo C says, TJ, yes, the Rangers have the same amount of points as us, but still, who expected that at this point? Well, all that matters is if you make the playoffs. So as bad as and that's what I'm saying, the Rangers are playing poorly. Right now, they'd make the playoffs. They'd be tied with us for the 7th and 8th spot.
And there's some Islander fans that have been really happy with the product that's been on it. Really happy with the results we've had too. I would say the results I'm optimistic about, but I mean, think about how bad the Rangers have played and how bad their fan base takes it right now. And they're only, they're the same exact amount of points in games played as us. Frank saying, I bet he doesn't break the record, Grumpy. Drew L.
Oh, he will. He will break the record.
Drew L. Grumpy. Drew L. is coming.
I'm starting to wonder if Paul Maurice might be one and done as Florida's coach. because they've been defensively inept this season. Yeah, he's not a good fit there, without a doubt. They need to bring Quenneville back.
Oh, shit. I almost forgot. I keep forgetting. People will send me like a tweet or something like that, and I'll usually tell them like, oh, man, I'll show this on the show, but I always forget. I want to show you. This is something that I figured you would enjoy, Grumpy. Or actually, not that I would figure. This is what Ponyboard Curtis sent me. He said that you would enjoy this. And I would say, I think he's spot on. I think you will enjoy this. This is from a few games ago, but it talks about certain things that I think we talk about on our show. And it breaks it down on a more detailed level regarding like how certain things impact the game and how a certain missed call could impact the game. And it's a 2-minute long clip. I think you'll enjoy it. I'll be quiet through the whole thing.
That'll be a novel approach.
Oh, there it is. Novel approach. Here we go, Rump.
The refs just missed another call against the Islanders. This was a blatant trip that would lead to an Islander game-winning goal. Now, before we get into coverage of tonight's game, the refereeing in last night's Calgary Islanders game was also not great. Specifically, Calgary fans were, I think, rightfully frustrated because refs missed a few key calls, including Cizikas taking down Markstrom near the end of the third. By the way, I've pretty much covered every NHL team by now, and Islanders fans are by far the most obnoxious. Downvote this if you like. People assumed I was biased in that last video because I'm a Rangers fan. Listen, I don't see the Islanders as a true rival like New Jersey. When the Rangers play an Islanders game, it's pretty much...
God damn it, Grumpy. Has it not been showing the video?
No.
You son of a bitch.
I didn't realize it was a video.
Jesus Christ. Okay, there's a video associated with it. Thank you, Druel, for messaging.
I should question everything you put up. Sometimes you put up video, sometimes it's just audio.
When I have it pulled up, Grumpy, I am not seeing what's happening on the screen. I very rarely look at what's going on the screen because I'm doing a whole bunch of other things. So if you notice, maybe there's no video, let me know.
Maybe if you knew how to put a video up, you wouldn't have to babysit you every time you try to put one up.
So
is that the way it has to be now? Is that what it has to be?
Getting really
babysit you
to defend myself. Getting really technical. When I hit share video on the Islanders Never Say Die show, it doesn't actually share the video. It brings it up in a tab where then I have to click share additionally. When we do TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, when I hit share, it automatically shares. There's a difference. So that's
so you know what to do, but you're not capable of doing it on a consistent basis when you're doing this particular podcast. Is that what you're trying to say?
Were you resting your eyes when I was
your failure now is no, I saw it. I'm like, okay, I guess there's no video because I already said that to you once this podcast. You figure you'd be able to figure it out for the second time in less than an hour. But no, not TJ. Couldn't pull that one off. Trying to blame me for your incompetence. You know who you sound like? You sound like Lou Lamoriello. Blaming me for your lack of acquiring the proper video to put up on screen, just like him not being able to acquire any players that sustain the Islanders' greatness.
Okay.
It's a home game, and they just don't really feel relevant to the team. I got no reason to hate them. But all right, let's get to the missed call. Cabo Kako very clearly gets his right skate taken out by Wahlstrom. Whether it's intentional or not, that doesn't matter. His skate's taken out, he falls, that's a tripping call. 57.2 in the rule book, it's clear. Anyway, it's weird because this wasn't some junior ref. It was Kelly Sutherland, one of the most respected referees in the NHL. This is the guy they get for Stanley Cup Finals games. Anyway, the play ended up leading to an Islanders goal. The Rangers may have been expecting a call either way. You got to play through the whistle. The point is, it shouldn't have been missed in the first place. However, and this is a big however, just like with yesterday, the Rangers still did not deserve to win this game.
And that was it. It's like, I like how there's only a channel discussing every single game, who has missed calls and where the call impacted the result of the game. There's only a channel that is dedicated to that. And I found that amazing. And I figured because it was talking about how we've been talking about how the Islanders have been getting a few calls this year, and it highlighted one of those. And a guy who is a Rangers fan, admittedly, but said the Islanders have been getting a lot of those calls and he's been showing up a lot. It's the same thing
you can show that Boston call last night.
I don't know if he's got that. Let me check his most recent video, Grumpy. He must have it up there.
Because absolutely, that's a cross-check interference. You could have called both on one play as a puck's coming to him in the slot right in front of the goal in like the last minute, I think it was. It's like, holy crap. How'd you get away with that one? mean,
shit! Oh shit! They actually have this. Hold on,
There
I
you
think
go.
they actually have the call. Oh no, that was 3 days ago. I'm sorry. I thought they actually had it, but no, they don't have that updated yet. Thank you, Poonburgers, for sending that. I thought it was a little funny one. Oh crap! I'll pull up what the guy's name was in a second. I'll get it back to us. The guy's his YouTube name, if you're interested in that type of stuff, is
I'm not.
ECK. Eek is what it is. I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Eek.
Eek. Alexander says, what do you guys think? The NHL. What do you think of the NHL doing a play-in series similar to the NBA?
I hate it. I hate it.
No
How
interest.
many teams need to be in the playoffs? You have to have 40 teams in the playoffs?
Half
Stop.
of the league makes the postseason. If you're not at least average, you don't deserve to make the postseason. Sorry. It's
No way.
no interest. A D-Cut says Andy Francis is a tool. No, he's not.
He's
Stop.
not just a tool, a pure tool.
No, he's
Matter of
not.
fact, he is a crystalline tool, is what D-Cut's trying to say.
Rob G says, what's up?
What kind of tool is he? Is he a wrench or a hammer?
You get a lot of comments, Grumpy. We keep it to 2 hours.
Screwdriver?
He's no tool, Grumpy.
Is he a
Rob G.
socket
Grumpy.
set? Is he a drill?
Alrighty, Grumpy. Your job. You're reading some comments. That's how we're going to keep you on task.
Rob G says, what's up, TJ Grumpy? Isles had a tough one yesterday, but we got 1 point, which is better than no points. 100% agree. That's right, Rob.
Oh, man. John
Rob
Smith.
always seeing the positive over the negative. Glad to love you, Rob. John Smith says, was at the game last night. This team is just not dangerous in the offensive zone. If it wasn't for somebody, who knows what could have happened? I don't even know because the comment cut off right there.
Oh, there. Oh,
But
my God.
I agree. Every time we score a goal, you can tell when we're going to score because like a mass scramble in front of the net, everyone's falling down, everyone's running into the goal, and bang, the puck gets popped into the net. We never score. Well, I won't say never. You know what I mean. But we never score any clean goals, if you know what I'm saying.
Phil's
Joel
facts, by the way,
says,
Phil's facts did want Simon Holmes from taking a shootout shot. I don't know if he was just rolling, but he did. Drew L. Grumpy.
TJ, why are you talking to Phil unless you're trying to get him on the podcast? Phil literally tweeted out last night that if Holmstrom didn't shoot third last night, that Lane should be fired. Oh, my God. You know what, Phil? I don't know what's wrong with Phil. Phil's got problems.
John Smith also said if it wasn't for Dobson, this team would be in the toilet.
True.
Amen.
True. He's been outstanding.
Where's Quick Kid? What is that? Where's
I don't
Kid
know.
Quick?
Kid Quick. I don't know.
Varley's killing it, says Frank.
True. Very true.
Absolutely. And Rob G says the Islanders have to win Friday or we'll be out of the playoff. No. We won't be out of the playoff picture. Grumpy says this. We will be out of a playoff spot, but it's really early. It's not like it tomorrow's.
If we fall out of the playoffs, we're out of the picture. Forget it. Everybody else getting better. We're getting worse.
Tommy B said the Islanders need money to build the new hotel. They want playoff hockey.
Okay.
They want sustainability. Fuck, man. I told you guys, 92 points, says D-Cut, and 4 points out of a playoff spot. Lou gives away our first in some ex-devil, and Frank Kaplan goes to prison and attempted murder. Oh, God.
He's on the record. D-Cut's on the record.
Going to give up a first for some ex-devil. Oh, good gracious.
Ugh. Stop. I hate the Devils. I don't hate the Devils.
Carlos Correa. Oh, good gracious. Rob G said, look, Carolina was rested. We were overworked from the night before, Grumpy.
We got our asses kicked off the planet against Carolina.
We
There
went-
are no excuses. How many teams have we beaten on the backside of back-to-backs when they're playing?
We played 3 teams when we had rest, and the other teams were playing the back end of the back-to-back. We played 3 teams in a row that were on they were in the back half of a back-to-back, and we went ahead and were playing with rest, and we lost.
They beat us like they had 40 games off in a row, 40 days off. They just kicked our asses right off the planet. That game wasn't close. Carolina is our daddy. We are their bitch, period. Carolina's better than the Islanders. We're never beating Carolina. Never freaking ever. We win. That was that one game we won. That was they came right off a 5-game road trip.
Frank Hay says here, Lou is going to trade our first for fish sticks and tartar sauce. Oh, gosh. Rob G saying Varley's on his game. Absolutely. Michael Watts says the Devils are starting to fall. Don't think they're sustainable. Okay, they've lost 3 games in a row. I'm not sure I'm waving the not
I
sustainable.
think they've gotten
They've
the
lost
play.
2 in overtime, I think, right?
Yeah, I think they've gotten some loser points.
Yeah, here's the thing. They're not gonna they weren't gonna be like, "Hey, we're gonna win 60 games this year," or anything like that. It's just not that's not them. They don't make that big of a jump that quick. John,
I feel here's the thing. I don't think what they've done is sustainable. I still think they have some of that devil in them, if you know what I mean. But that's why I feel like if the Islanders were like that, you can go on a little bit of a losing streak and still be comfortably in the playoff hunt. So, we're not there. If we go on like a big losing streak, we could be done. Oh, we keeping you awake, DJ? How come you weren't over there? All of a sudden, you're so tired. Is that correct?
You yawned how many freaking times in a row?
Doesn't matter.
And I let it all go and then call you out one?
It doesn't matter.
I yawn once and I get the freaking shit. Don't you freaking worry, Grumpy. Don't you worry.
John McManaman says, I tried really hard to watch Holmstrom without any bias. Very weak with the puck, soft away from the puck, loses too many puck battles, takes bad angles tracking the puck, very poor hockey sense. Yeah, he sucks. I'm telling you, I don't know what he did, how he got called up, except for that he's Lou Lamoriello's lone first-round draft pick. That's the only reason. Don't tell me that. I saw guys on that Bridgeport roster who are better than him and don't get a sniff at playing. Atu Ratu is probably, I want to say, 75% better than Simon Holmstrom. And that was me seeing him after just playing like a couple of weeks in the A. He was infinitely better than Casper Holmstrom.
And then John M. Grumpy.
Holmstrom reacts too slow shooting, shows the puck the other teams too much. He sucks. He sucks. Andrew L. says, as TJ wanders to the bathroom once again, if we are out of the playoff picture come the deadline, trade for some picks or decent prospects. Then if he wants to come back, I would absolutely sign him back at a lower AAV for backup. Talking about Varlamov. To me, Varlamov needs to be moved, and I'll tell you what, so does Scott Mayfield. Both need to be moved. Drew L. says, this podcast is brought to you by everyone's favorite third line center, J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now. That's right. Shay says Bailey had two goals and 1 assist last year in a game. Yeah, that was one game where he was really, really good. Brian P. says Jake Kyrios. I can't read. Kyriakos agreed. That's Jake, by the way. Agreed. It really makes zero sense in the NBA. There's never upsets anyway. It's a waste of time. The players already don't care about the regular season. It just makes it worse. D-Cut says, talking about the NHL maybe expanding to have a play-in game. No, we don't want to do that. D-Cut says, we've learned over the last 4+ seasons that once we sustain a few injuries, we drop like a rock. Not a stone, a rock. The depth on this team for years has been crap, and that's on the old fossil Lou. 100% true. Once again, Jake K says Brian Parser agreed. No need to go backwards when 16 to 24 teams make the playoffs.
Grumpy, I want to say this. I just tried to hear you pronounce JK's name. Thank you. That's why I just call everybody by the first letter of their last name, Grumpy.
Well, here's the thing. I got it right.
Oh, no, you
Did
didn't.
I? Yeah,
Jake, no, you got it wrong. D-Cut says
Jake Kyriakos. It's the whole thing. It's real tough for me to see because it's so small. The print.
Okay, sure. D-Cut says we have learned over the past 4+
already
seasons.
done that. Been there, done that. Thanks for playing.
Oh man.
There we go.
In short, wasted picks, says John M.
Yes.
D-Cut says he will get $10 million, TJ, over 2 seasons.
Ooh.
Jake says, I like Andy Francis and Phil's. Facts.
We like them too. They're both good guys.
Absolutely. Gungun says, which New York sports franchise has mastered the art of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory? The best, the Mets, Jets, or the Islanders?
It's not the Islanders. Gosh.
I'd argue maybe the Jets, right?
But the Jets are so bad. This year, yes, absolutely. They've done that. But I want to say the Mets.
Okay.
Because the Mets are, of those 3 teams, the Mets are consistently the best team.
Yep. Matthew S. there saying, Lou effed up that Dobson contract. Not a good one. I should have signed longer term. Shay says, random, but I can't look at the RR with my OCD. What the hell's the RR? Without being a graphic designer because they can't. Oh, they can't connect at the. I can't make the bottom connect. What is the RR?
A railroad?
Okay, maybe.
I don't know.
Joseph C says he only needs 95 goals, and he's going to finish with another 25 to 30 goals before the season's over. Ovechkin will have that record.
I 100% agree with that. He will get that record. He hasn't slowed down at all. His shot, when you can shoot like that, Oliver Wahlstrom, thank you very much. Those guys get to play a long, long time.
John Smith said, Reaves killed that guy. Rest in peace. Gungun.
He deserves it.
Gungun says, recently,
the Islanders and Jets have created a new game we can all enjoy playing. Pinpoint the play in which you gave the game away to an elite opponent. You can even leave that out. Just pinpoint the play in which you gave the game away. Yeah, the Jets have done it like I'd say the Islanders haven't really done that. Not this year, but the Jets absolutely have. The 2 New England games. Oh, my God. Please stop. The Buffalo game. Oh, terrible.
My God, yeah, Grumpy. You're going to have to step up your freaking game, Grumpy, reading-wise. D-cut, Grump.
What?
we got a lot of comments. Just look at how many comments have fed through. We're trying to keep all the shows at 2:30 maximum, so you better start getting on the stick, Grumpy.
Well, then let me do all the comments. You complain about how I read them. You complain about you don't give enough big enough answer. How come your answers are so short? Or you just disagreeing or say no. How come you're doing that? You're the guy who wanders around the bathroom 14 times. I don't know. I can't help you out. D-Cut says Jack Edwards is absolute POS, and I wish Patrick Maroon kicked his butt for what he said about him. I don't know. He's been there a long time.
I will say this, Grumpy. Your little asides don't help keep us on track.
Brian P. says, I think the players have to protect themselves. He had his head down the whole time. Not only down, looking backwards. Don't look where you've been. Look where you're going, sunshine. You know what? Here's the thing. That's the type of guy who causes an accident on the highway. Oh, what were you doing? I was looking down behind me. I turned around. Oh, it was a red light. He got hit by a Mack truck. He got what he deserved. Google says, what are the chances the Islanders miss the playoffs by 1 slim point? Not too good. I think we miss them by more than that. Thanks for the outcomes efforts like last night. Okay.
I tell you, oof. If the Islanders miss the postseason by 1 point,
that won't be the game we look back on. That won't be the one.
No, we'll look back on like, hey, we got shut out by Arizona. We like games like that. We'll say like, holy crap, or wow, we found a way to lose to Columbus, or we lost to the Flyers. That's what we'd be saying. Frank says, I was yelling for Wahlstrom. He's light years better on penalty shots than Bailey. What is the organization's obsession with Bailey? WTF?
I don't know. No one's been able to figure it out.
Rob G saying Ryan Reaves is a dirty player. Absolutely is. Absolutely. JK Grumpy.
Edwards is a total low-class individual, unprofessional. I'm surprised he did not get canceled. Well, it's probably because he said, I don't know what he said, but it was about somebody else who's not eligible to be cancel worthy.
Who's Grumpy? Edwards? Who's Edwards?
Jack Edwards. Drew L says, I love how TJ was going to say after the ad read, he was going to read comments, then proceeds to show a hit from Ryan Reaves as if we care. Oh, shit.
I do care. There it is. Good gracious. And they got a comment here from Goon Grump.
Was Nickelodeon's hit TV show, You Can't Do That on Television, ever really funny? I never watched it, so I can't even comment on it.
Hold on. Jack Edwards was the one who called Pat Maroon. Okay, hold on. Let's back this shit up. Now this is making sense to me. Patrick Maroon, did you hear that? Patrick Maroon, we didn't talk about that. He called Patrick Maroon kind of chubby. He called him fat. Jack, that's what.
Is he?
It sounded like just riffing. It sounded like, it's chirping another guy. He called him fat, and they're like, oh, you're body shaming because he's fat, and then he donated some money or something. Dude, I don't know. Yeah, I used to get called
fat. It's like calling a 450-pound woman fat. Guess what? She is. You don't deserve to get canceled for that.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I think he was just. Oh, yeah. There it is. We got the little clip on it. We can't.
I don't know. We're not seeing the clip. I don't know. Can we play the clip?
Oh. Hold on.
It's not up on the screen yet.
I don't
There's
even
no
have it
picture.
pulled out yet, Grumpy.
There's no picture of the clip. I'm just letting you know.
Oh my God. Okay, give me a second. It's gonna get
No
pulled
clip
up.
picture.
All right, give me a sec, Grump.
I mean, if somebody's fat and you got to tie, if they're,
Here's the thing. Pat Maroon's not fat, but it's like I don't know. I don't take any. I don't think he's not like calling him. He's calling him fat, but it's more like he's chirping him. He's going so over the top. It's done for a reason. He's trying. It's like he's lampooning it, I think, a little bit too. But I'll let you listen to it.
Yeah.
I didn't really take too much offense to it. I'm not Pat Maroon. Pat Maroon, as a professional NHLer, shouldn't take too much offense to this either. But I'll let you listen to it.
238 pounds. That was day one of training camp. I got a feeling he's had a few more pizzas between then and now. Yeah, that's before pregame. Right.
you got to make it louder. Can't
Okay,
hear
it's not a good video, Grumpy. Alexander, if you could send us the one that's the actual video, it's not. It's just like somebody filming the
So
damn.
he said he ate a few more pizzas.
He said he's 230 pounds. He's like, that was before training camp or something like that. He's like, he's eaten a few pizzas since that time.
It's like saying that Anders Lee weighs 225. He does not. He's
when I said
way
he's
bigger than that.
maybe he's 215. He's 215. He's skinny as a rail. It's like the same thing, except on the opposite foot.
Maybe he's just looking at the program and said that's his weight, because that, you know, like I said, it's the NFL does the same thing. Vince Wilfork was listed in the preseason guide every single year 275. That guy wasn't 275 except when he was in 6th grade of elementary school. No, he was 350 if he was an ounce when he played in the pros, particularly at the tail end. I mean, to me, he's just joking. I could care less about that.
Yeah, and people were all over. I can't believe he said this. Oh my gosh, Patrick Maroon joined us to address Jack Edwards.
Yeah, just
joking around. He was joking around. He's like, yeah,
it was so obvious. If you listen to his tone of voice, you could tell he was joking. Paulo C says, we had so many chances to win last night in overtime. Barzal, Pajot alone against their goalie. At the end of regulation with seconds left, Barzal in a great position to shoot, and he decides to pass to the side. Let me tell you something. Boston had a boatload of chances too. Varlamov was tremendous in overtime, as was Olmark. The goaltending, here's the thing. If you want to show somebody what hockey's all about and a good game to watch, that was it last night. Physical play, great goaltending, some beautiful goals. I mean, it was a great game to watch. Greenwood says, if Lazy Lou would get off his old tookus and acquire one or two contributors, the Islanders could actually be something this year. But, of course, he won't. He feels more comfortable around the elderly.
Oh, good gracious. I'll tell you. DCAT says, TJ, it's hockey, not figure skating. Millennials are as soft as the baby's backside.
That's right.
Oh, man. Shay says, I can't forget the opportunity Mr. Captain, who does nothing had. Yeah,
very true.
Actually,
Jack Edwards called him out on that. Absolutely. You know what? I like announcers that call him out. Tommy Baffy says they should force Reaves to work with Joe Biden for a month as punishment.
Oh no, I didn't. I just popped it up.
Brandon Kane says Matt S. Bridge.
Okay, Grumpy, you could just say him, you see, or he's not going to play like Cale McCarr or Shane Gostisbehere over the next 3 years. And talking about Noah Dobson, if he keeps his offensive aggression and improves his defensive game, you'll see 8.5 to 9.5 million. No,
he's talking about your boy Dobson. I think
Dobson's getting himself a $10 million contract. The cap will increase in the next 4 years by $10 million. He's getting himself a $10 million contract, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be afraid. Just embrace it. Tommy B says, I love those jerseys, the Minnesota Wild jerseys.
They're great.
Absolutely.
They're great.
Goon Grumpy got another comment there for you.
I recently asked if I was foolish as Ralph Malph and Potsy for predicting the Islanders' victory versus Boston since they lost in overtime. Can I bump it up to being as foolish as Chachi and Jenny Piccolo? No. It's after the fact.
Brandon Gaines says, not to mention
Chachi Arcola.
Not to mention only Pajot, Lee, and Barzal would be the only forwards on a book at this time, at the time of the next deal.
That piece of shit Lee will still be under contract. Ugh.
At the next CBA. Yeah.
What's the problem? Lee is under contract still.
Rich Grumpy.
Rich R says hockey has gotten soft at times, hard to watch for the sake of generating more goals. Problem is, look at Olmark last night. His pads make him look 6 foot wide. He's looked pretty good this year, though. Got to give him credit.
Absolutely. And Frank Grumpy.
And once again, Barzal had a couple of great shot opportunities and forced passes. What's wrong with him? WTF? What the frick?
WTF Grumpy. Goon.
While we're on the subject of happy days, was it really necessary for the audience to erupt into wild applause every time a main character first appeared on the episode? People forget how over Fonzie was. He was, man, super over. He was like the biggest guy on television. Arthur Fonzarelli, Henry Winkler. But you think about it, what a freaking loser he was in real life. A real loser. Because, I mean, he was a guy in his mid-20s hanging out with high school kids. That's like the definition of freaking loser, isn't it?
JK said, in my opinion, to answer your question, yes, it is loser. In my opinion, they should rename the Wild the North Stars. I agree. And the Stars, the Lone Stars. Copyrights be damned. Copyright be damned. Okay, I like the color design. He says the Minnesota North Stars should have the old green and yellow jerseys, and the Lone Stars should be red, white, and blue jerseys.
Why not? What the heck?
I was about to say. Tommy B says trade Varlamov, Mayfield, and Parise and add 3 first-round picks. That will change the future of this organization.
You're not getting a first-round pick for Parise. I think you could get one for Varlamov, and you absolutely could get at least one for Mayfield, maybe a first and a second for Mayfield. That's what you do in a draft like this. You just say, okay, we're not, and they have to do some soul searching, right? Okay.
You got to obviously wait until what happens. Finally, things.
Yeah, but if you're just like kicking around, oh, we're 8, 9, back there, you're not winning a Stanley Cup from that spot. You have to think big picture. Yes. Okay. We took one more kick at the can with the old crew. We're moving on now. We're not good enough. And they know, honestly, they know if they're good enough to win a Stanley Cup. And if they're not, you know what? Move on. Get this a deep, deep draft. Get some young players. Reinvigorate the franchise. And this way, your path to reinvigorating the team is just maybe 1 or 2 years, 2-3 years. You're right back where you are with a younger cast.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Shay says, I was expecting Bailey to pass the puck to the boards during the shootout.
He tried to pass to a guy in the 7th row. That's why he hit the glass. I mean, he threw it well over the top of the goal. He wasn't even close. Bailey blows.
But this, I've got the Jack Edwards post because none of it, believe it or not, it's really tough to find on YouTube. So Alexander found the best one he could, but it just, the audio wasn't great. But they said, this is what Edwards says. Listed at 238 pounds of day 1 of training camp. I've got a feeling that he said a few more pizzas between then and now, Edwards said with a laugh. And they said, that's before pregame. And he said, fasting for Pat Maroon is like 4 hours without a meal. And he says, hey, 3 cups in a row. So who can argue with it? So it's all done in jest.
Absolutely.
I don't, and they donated some money out of it. They said, we're going to take the high road. We're going to donate some money out of it. I think it's a nothing burger story. I don't think he was upset about it. You listen to him in the Spit and Chicklets. It wasn't like, oh, this goddamn guy, I'm going to kill him.
He was laughing. They were laughing talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking more even about Pat Maroon. I don't think he really took offense to it either. And it was just all kind of done in jest. So again, NHL superstar who's won 3 cups. You could do a lot worse than that.
And he even said, I guess it works, right? That's what he said at the end.
Yeah.
Who can argue with winning 3
who can argue with 3 cups? It's all done in jest.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
If anything, they made him sound, all right, he's eating a lot. He's a bigger guy. But you know what? He's winning Stanley Cups every year. Who can argue with that?
They used to say the same shit about Vince Wilfork during it. They used to say literally the same exact shit about Vince Wilfork, saying 315 pounds, Vince Wilfork. And Chris Collins was like, I don't think Vince Wilfork's 315 pounds now. And they would joke about it. That's all. Anybody with eyes were able to see, like, that's not 315.
Yeah, he's not 315. Right.
Anyway, moving along.
He was 275 in the freaking guide. Let me tell you, he was listed 275 in the guide.
I heard he was listed 200 pounds flat.
No, it was 275. That used to be my job, 275.
John Smith said, I was caught on TV giving a look of disgust to Bailey. LOL. Busted. Hold on. Beautiful. Is that him? Yeah, there he is. I think that's him on the bench. You could see him right between Lane Lambert.
Oh my God.
There it is. John Smith, Grumpy. Matthew S. said it could have been 8 years times $6 million before this season. Yeah, maybe for Lou Dobson, maybe 8 years, six and a half. Oh, well, it would be a good problem if we have to worry about paying Noah Dobson $10 million, because that means he really is panned out. No, it's just called financially freaking nitwitted decisions.
Yep. Just dumb. He does it. Lamoriello does it all the time. He pisses away money to a 30-year-old like Anders Lee, 7 years, $7 million per. The day that contract was signed, we went on the air and said that contract sucks.
Yep. Goon says, "What's the name? What's become of Apex senior citizen chap? I haven't heard from that old fart in a long time. Neither have I. Hopefully he's doing well." Yes. Grumpy old man. I wasn't saying you were late. Just TJ. LOL.
Thanks, Frank.
Christian O says, "Tall guys, usually those that throw hits, are disadvantaged with the head hit rules. Agree with the goal to eliminate head hits as much as possible, but how far can a guy who's 6'2" or 6'6" crouch down?"
Yeah, and that guy's not super tall, the Detroit guy. He's just probably shorter now than he was before the game earlier today.
D-Cut says,
"I'm angry tonight. I want to buff TJ." Well, Biff. I don't know what that is.
Biff TJ. I don't know.
Bash him. Just to be honest, no hard feelings.
No worries. And Christian, I think about this too. I'm like, I don't know. It's just a lot of times you don't see players take open runs and skates at skaters anymore who've got the puck.
Because you know what? You want to know why it doesn't happen? Because you don't see guys skating down the ice with the puck with the looking behind them like that. It's like, you know what? Honestly, he should have got hit twice as hard. And he should have skated. He should have done an elbow drop on him and a knee drop.
When he knocked him down to the ground, Hornet Grumpy, should Reaves have then taken the gloves off and started pounding the unconscious Hornet as he was turtled up with his hands over his face? Is that what he should have done?
What he should have done was take a bounce off the boards and hit him with the leg drop. Then put him down for a 3 count. That's what he should have done.
He should have taken the gloves off and he had tin foil in his hands and started pounding his face on the ice, right?
What are you doing, guys? Putting on the foil, coach. Okay. That's a great movie. I got to watch that movie again. I haven't seen it probably in, I want to say a year and a half. Got to watch it.
Tommy B said the Misery Boy comments are blocked. No, they never are. Gungun says, was Butch Goring the last worthwhile Islanders trade acquisition that didn't backfire?
No.
There were many before that. Yeah. I'd say getting rid of Griffin Reinhart for those picks was one that definitely worked out. But I mean, like a trade deadline, I don't know. Yeah. Shay says our general manager wouldn't do it if he didn't play for the Devils at some point and is not 35.
Ooh, Shay's coming in hot.
Rich R. Grumpy.
With Barzy being smothered all night, did you honestly feel anyone was going to score? Think Lou is still awake at game time? Probably not.
Another thing is
Boston knows how to play. They know how to play Barzal.
Yeah.
They just say, you know what? We're going to put 2 guys on you, make somebody else beat us. Like I said, all of our goals yesterday, ugly variety.
It must have been them being able to play Barzal must have been the reason why they determined not to draft him 3 straight picks in a row. They said, oh, if it's so easy to do this, every team can do it in the NHL. But I guess they're the only people that have the secret recipe, or one of the few. Anthony R. said, we won't make the playoffs. They had our chance to stockpile points, and of course we didn't.
And that was my concern going into that easier part of our schedule. It's like we needed to have some points in the bank, because playing this tougher portion of the schedule, you're not going to get as many as you hoped.
Frank says, my fear is that Lou will make a desperation flashy trade because he figures he's got 2 years off.
He shouldn't have any years left. He's freaking 80 years old.
Rich R. says here, Grumpy, yes, all June and July. You blasted Simon Holmstrom.
All June and July.
Goon says, are the Islanders the only NHL team that makes their fans nervous whenever they're on the power play?
No, they're not the only one.
We've given up 2 or 3 shorthanded goals this year.
It happened.
We gave up one against Boston yesterday too. Oof.
It happens.
Drew L. Grumpy.
I was expecting Bailey to stand in the corner during the shootout, and then pass it to the crease, thinking Average and Croc was going to stand there.
There it is.
Croc really doesn't go to the front of the net. He does not. That's an average.
Usually puts himself around the dot, or that around the dot. Yeah. And that's where his wrist shot can really be deadly.
Yeah, he's very good. That's very, very good there. Of course, in shootout, not so much.
Frank.
I was saying, please, no more power plays for us.
We have given up a lot more shorthanded goals than we're used to this year. James F. What's up, James? He says,
I can see Barzy and Nelson on the shootout, but Bailey on the shootout? I thought Barry Trotz was coaching the Islanders again.
oh, God. Delaney. What's up, Delaney? She says, Grumpy, do you think it's safe if I wear my Islanders jerseys to
I would
Madison Square
not,
Garden?
Delaney, I love you. I don't think you should do that. Here's the thing. No, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat up a young girl like you. That's not going to happen. But make sure your brother and your father absolutely do not wear theirs. They're just asking for trouble. You can get away with it. Delaney's got, for people who don't know Delaney, she's got an electric smile, and she disarms everyone with that smile. But, your dad and your brother, not so much.
Brian B said, hello all. I missed a few shows. I've been out of the country. Brian B, I'm jealous.
We're glad you're back, Brian. We missed you.
I was about to say, we missed you. Where'd you go? Hopefully it was a fun time. D-Cut says Barzal does marvelous with the puck until it's time to put the puck in the net. 3 goals, the $6 million man. Just as many as the $6 million man. Take it deep. Oh, man.
He's a $3 million man now.
Frank says, don't call him Brock. And he's nasty, and he's killing it this year and last year, too. Yeah, I was about to say, Grumpy, get on the Brock Nelson train. Whoop, whoop. We got plenty
Have I been ripping him this year?
Still call him Brock Nelson.
That's not ripping him.
It's not
really good. I think he's shooting the more accuracy better this year.
He's got 30 games played. He's got 14 goals, 16 assists, 30 points in 30 games. He's a point-a-game guy. Who would ever freaking figure we would say Brock Nelson's near a point-a-game guy?
Not me.
He's on track to hit 80, even if he tails off a bit. Could you imagine Brock Nelson in the 70s or even, let's say, the upper tier of 80 points in a year?
He's not going to be a point-a-game guy. But why are his points so high this year, honestly?
Because we're playing this open system where we're just saying as much offensive pressure forward as possible, a heavy forward checking, defensemen trying to do anything they can, go below the crease in the offensive zone. Where in the past, we never did that.
And as wide open as our style is, do you want to know who's not going to average hardly any more points than last year?
Andersley.
Exactly.
Josh Bailey.
Zach Parise.
Too. Rich A says Horvat doesn't need to be the guy here.
I like him. I think he's a perfect fit for this team.
Brian B says all pass on. I'm talking about Bill Horvat. Yeah.
Okay.
James F said Kent Barzal stop with the Dorothy Hamill circular around figure skating in overtime. I like that. I think it helps create opportunities. And what they're trying to do is they try to bait the other team.
If he had any other talent playing with him, we wouldn't be saying that.
What he's trying to do is bait sometimes the other team into trying to go ahead and make a change. And when they do that, you're then able to catch him in a 3-on-2 rush going the other way, I think is what he usually does. But he's a fantastic skater. He allows, with those circles, our teammates and our line mates to get off the ice too. Coach Tommy B. Grumpy.
The Islanders won't decide till around game 55 if they're buying.
I mean, that's not too far away. They're going to
25 games.
Well, they're going to have an inkling as to what they're going to do. It's not like game 55. They're like, hey, we haven't thought about it. Let's make a decision.
They should already say, oh, Jesus, we had a chance to make hay earlier in the season. We had the Rangers down, Washington dead and buried. Pittsburgh was in the tank. All of a sudden, they're ahead of us or tied with us. We're in trouble.
Matthew S. says, Bo Horvat's a center. We need wingers.
It's all right. You can make it work.
And Rich R says here, stop psychoanalyzing. Give whatever we have to give for Bo Horvat. We need something other than Barzal.
I agree. That's a guy worth trading for.
Okay. I don't know. And Frank says Barzal would so benefit and score more if he had a winger. He was a winger. If he was a winger, I'm sorry. He's too much of an offensive type. He shouldn't have the extra defensive duty that a center does.
True.
He says, I like Bo Horvat. Joseph C said that Ryan Reaves hit is the same reason I don't like Jacob Trouba, except Ryan Reaves isn't expected to even be an average skater. or a first line defender, or make $8 million a year for Jacob Trouba. Yeah, he's reckless out there on the ice too. James F. Grumpy.
I told you about, he said Mo. I think it's Bo. I hearing a lot of the NHL channel on Sirius going to the Islanders.
Yeah.
I don't want to trade Ratu though.
Time V says, TJ, get a new camera. Yeah, I got to do that. This is on its last legs. Frank says, man, it scares me. Lou will get robbed at the trade deadline. And I pray the owners stay involved.
Same here.
Yep. Fears that I have. Islanders. JJ says, keep in mind, Bo Horvat has only played 82 games pretty much 3 times.
It's a physical style play that he plays. He's not afraid to mix it up either. I like him.
So now you're saying I want a guy who's 28 years old to a long-term deal that plays physical style. Okay. Grumpy, please buy TJ a new camera. No, I'll get it fixed and sorted, you bastards.
Let me tell you something. I'm giving this guy so much, it's unbelievable.
Technical difficulties in TJ phone booth. At the TJ phone booth, says Matthew S. Paulo C. Grumpy.
Guys, how come it seems like we're giving up more shorthanded goals? Well, because we are. So
I was going to say we've given up 3 this year, and I don't know, 2 or 3, and I think we only gave up 1 all last year. And sorry, Nelson is better than Bo Horvat. Don't even try that, Grumpy, says Matthew S.
I'd love to have Horvat playing with Barzal. I'll just put it like that.
Brandon Gaines says, TJ, Bo Horvat is the heart and soul of that Canucks team. Scores big goals and in the playoffs with a shitty supporting cast, with the exception of Elias Pettersson. He's been on multiple 60-point paces, but doesn't show on the stat sheet due to injuries. And in the 2021 shortened season, he's over 57% in the faceoff dot as well. He is a career 14% shooter, which is still, the average between 27 to 30 goals a year. How is that an issue? Okay, so we're talking about a guy who consistently misses games in his 20s due to injuries. What does that mean for the future, right? His style is to play this big, physical, hard-on-your-sleeve style, and he's a guy who has been riddled with injuries in the past, and we're going to want to give him a huge contract.
I like
That's
him.
the thing. Shit.
I like him.
Let me ask you this.
I want him.
Bo Horvat's like a cheap man's Ryan Kessler. Cheap man's Ryan Kessler.
And I like Kessler too.
Kessler was a much better player than Bo Horvat is. And he was healthier too. Kessler was always injured and banged up too. Ryan Kessler was a much better player.
I think their numbers are very similar. Very similar. I loved Ryan Kessler. Oh my God. One of my favorites when he was playing. To me, he's a hockey player.
Ryan Kessler had multiple 70-point seasons. Different stratospheres.
Okay, remember the team he was playing with, though.
Okay, I know Brandon said a bad supporting cast in Vancouver. They've got legitimate forwards. JT Miller, the guy we all wanted to trade for. He plays in Vancouver. Elias Pettersson, guys that people want to trade. He plays in Vancouver. Brock Besser, we want to trade for him. He plays in Vancouver. They've got a lot of offensive talent in Vancouver, and this son of a bitch only musters up 60-point season once in his NHL career. Not buying it. Sorry, not interested.
Okay.
No interest. Ryan Kessler was over.
You've been heard. You've been heard.
I know. And D-Cut, Grumpy.
Nelson is our best player, hands down. Ballerina Barzal and No-Hit Noah are a distant second and third.
No, don't badmouth my 2 boys. No.
No, it's a matter of fact, if you want to know the 3 best, well, actually the 4 best players, this is the order I go in. Barzal, Dobson, Sorokin, Barzal, Dobson, Nelson. Nelson's top 4 without a doubt, but those other guys are better than him.
Hold on. You did leave somebody important off that list, Grump. Where's Simon Holmstrom?
He's like the guy, he's the guy who cleans up the shit in like a porta potty. That's where you see him. If you got like the current Islanders Mount Rushmore, the people have to hike up there. They got somewhere to go to the bathroom, the little porta potties, and there's Simon. He's out there scooping the shit and the piss and all that stuff because that's all he's worth. And who's teaching him how to do it?
Josh Bailey. Okay. Anders Lee's like the supervisor. Anders
Lee's just down there pointing. You go over there.
So Anders Lee's the tour guide. Okay.
That's the tour guide.
And Josh Bailey's like the supervisor. He's saying, hey, I've done this a long time. Learn
That's
after me, kid, and I'll teach you how to be
I'm
successful.
smart. I can show you how to have a long Islanders career without being able to do anything. That's my skill set.
Robert M says Bridgeport lost 2-1 in overtime. Oh no.
Okay.
Drew L said it's okay, TJ. Unlike Grumpy and D-Cut, we don't care if you're clean shaven or a beard as long as you shave your head.
Oh wow.
Damn. Mr. Janspan, Grumpy.
Head scratch of the night. Limerick played Otto over Romanov and Pulak in the OT versus Boston. Wow. Well, what's the thing that Aho does well?
Skates.
He skates and he moves the puck.
But why the hell is damn Andersley out there? I guess they needed some totem pole to stick his ass out there in front of the net.
He's a liability in shootout. In overtime.
3-on-3. Yeah, of course. More freaking ice to skate with a guy who doesn't skate well. Varlamov on Friday, Sorokin on Saturday and Monday. I'm warming up more to the Phil thing. I'm warming up Phil Friday, Saturday, Sorokin, Varlamov on Monday against Colorado.
Well, I have first world problems, so this really doesn't affect me that much. So I'll just wait and see. Grade 800 goals. He's going to pass Gordie Howe. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian B says here, you move Brock or Barzal to the wing, and I'd put them on the same line with Wahlstrom if we got Bo Horvat. You never say no to centers.
Yeah, I'd leave. See, to me, Barzal would play with Horvat. Horvat would take the defensive responsibilities of being a center. That's what I would do.
Grumpy D-Cut's got a comment.
Get off Phil's nuts, TJ.
Oh, good gracious.
Stop D-riding Phil.
Frank Grump.
Grumpy old man, Brock may be better than Horvat. You don't realize what a great player he is. I don't know why. He plays great in the playoffs. He scores, back checks, plays decent defense, skates good. What else could you want? I'm not saying that he's not a good player. What I'm saying is I just think Horvat is a better player. That's all I'm saying.
James F. does not think Ovechkin's going to pass the great one.
Yeah, I disagree. I think it's a no-brainer. It's going to happen.
Drew L. says, you know,
if you think about it, Tua is just younger and a less mobile Marcus Mariota.
And with a worse arm.
That's how you get a name like Noodles.
Goon Grump.
Bloody blokes, show some cojones and give it to me straight. Will the Jets season come down to the last game versus the Dolphins, or will they be put out of their misery long before? No, it's going to come right down to the end.
The Brian P says Horvat's 4 years younger than Ryan O'Reilly. I think Horvat is better, TJ. Maybe right now he's better, but throughout the time period of his career, I think Ryan O'Reilly was a better.
I'm just saying he's a Ryan O'Reilly type of player. That's all I'm saying.
D-Cut says, I agree with Grumpy and Brian P. Trade for Horvat and move Ballerina to the wing. Playing wing worked well for Patrick Kane and Mitch Marner.
True. I think that's a smart move. Here's the thing, I don't want to give up Ratu though. I know I've been like on point. We're not getting rid of first round pick, but if it's for somebody young like that, where's CJ the Red Loop and Power Ranger? Because I know he's looking for Timo Meyer at some point in time.
Continue, Grumpy.
Frank says, could anyone be a Holmstrom fan minus his parents? I can't believe we drafted him over all the other guys available. What the hell did they see? Lou should have been fired just by the draft picks. His thing, he was expected to be the middle to late of the second round. He was a human injury waiting to happen. They couldn't even find clips of him on NHL Network. Oh my gosh.
Casper the NASCAR driver, Grumpy. Casper the NASCAR driver. I was trying to, how do you gonna say Casper the NASCAR driver? The NASCAR?
Casper the NASCAR driver.
Casper the NASCAR driver. Okay.
Casper the NASCAR driver.
He looks like he could legitimately be like a NASCAR driver. He's got that skinny frame.
He does not look like he could be a NASCAR driver. He don't look like a member of the pit crew. He looks like Peanut Boy.
Stop.
If he was in Major League Baseball, he wouldn't even be a bat boy. He'd be pine tar rag boy. That's what he'd be. Not even good enough to be a bat boy.
Oh my God. Hold on a second. He also sent me a video saying, oh God almighty, Drew L. He's at it again. He says, me when Phil tweets something stupid. Oh God. I'll pull it up here for us.
All right. There's a video coming up.
Fuck no. 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 What? No. No, Grumpy. No. Oh God. Good gracious. I love that. And oops. Hold on.
Oops.
I was
Oops.
trying to get back to where I lost a place in comments.
Oops.
Okay. James F. Grump.
One more week of Christmas rush, delivering these packages to lazy ass people who get their ass to the store and get their own packages instead of dragging my ass to deliver. James, I hate to tell you, that's just the way the world is now.
Hey,
It's
James.
more fun. To me, it's more fun going out shopping, buying your merchandise, bringing it home. Just more fun. It's just not as fun ordering online and having James deliver it to your house.
Hey,
Sorry,
James, I've got a bone to pick with you and your company. They're missing one of my packages that's stuck out there in Colorado that's been there since December the 6th. The USPS.
First of all, you do not know who James works for.
Or maybe he works for UPS. That's right. I can't remember where he works for. I know he
Well,
works for
don't even say, don't even, you don't know who's, you don't know. Maybe he's just the guy who delivers packages. Maybe Santa Claus. You never
He is.
know.
Maybe James is Santa Claus's Twitter. Maybe that's his. Maybe it's his little handle. Maybe that's his YouTube handle. This is Chris Kringle. Casper, the NASCAR driver, is his new name. Tommy
Not
B
for me.
says we need to hire a shootout coach because our approach stinks.
Could be better.
Seeing Lee in overtime yesterday and Bailey in shootout was ridiculous, says Declan F.
Hard to believe, right? Hard to believe.
Gaines says TJ plus minus doesn't say anything. Chara was a +8 last year. Was I talking about plus minus?
I don't think so.
Maybe I was. Maybe I was talking about when I was disparaging Simon Holmstrom. Shay says plus minus is a terrible stat to judge a player with.
Okay.
TJ, can you put up the AHL standings? I'd like to know how Bridgeport Islanders are doing so far. I'll get that pulled up. Grump, I'll let you keep going.
Speaking of that shootout, why was Wally and Dobson in that line? I don't get it. No one else does either. Tony Cheese says, Grumpy, 47 people on average slam your kid every Wednesday and Saturday. It would only be fair. Yeah, he's a big boy. He can take it. And, here's the thing. TJ's a really good sport about that.
And Tommy B. Grumpy.
And here goes TJ. How many bathroom breaks do you take on average in a 24-hour day?
8 or 9.
Damn. James F says, I'm so glad he's able to give us some comments in between delivering packages. Oh, guys, I was listening to the NHL channel on Sirius's. They were thinking about staying in the playoffs. TJ, my gosh. Looks like, you know what it sounded like? You know what it sounded like? No, listen to me.
Jesus Christ, Lou Holtz.
You know what it sounded like? I was leaving out a letter in every single word I was reading. It's a talent. It's a talent, agreeably, but not one that's applicable to this show.
Grumpy, I was concerned because I'm like, you're starting to slur every word that comes out of your mouth.
You want to know why? Because I need a little drink.
That's exactly. Dude, I remember
when, lubricant for the old vocal cords.
When the show first started, like that's when you'd always go, you like what did sarsaparilla, like suckering succotash or whatever the hell that Daffy Duck did.
Suffering succotash. That was the cat, Sylvester the cat.
Yeah, whatever it is. I'm like, Grumpy, get you some drink. I'll read this one. I'll read this one, Grumpy.
Suffering succotash. That was Yosemite Sam.
Okay.
James Farrell says, oh, guys, I was listening to NHL channel on Sirius. They were thinking of expanding the playoffs. TJ, maybe you can look it up.
Oh, no freaking way they should expand. James, to give it to you, the Bridgeport Islanders are in 3rd in the division. 25 games played. They've got themselves 33 points.
That's pretty good. That's better than our team's doing.
Yeah. They're doing well. And got a comment here.
Brett Thompson for president.
Michael Zuccarello says, I see this guy's videos. He's such a tool bag. Oh, God. This guy, Eek, LOL, true rivals. That's because we've owned them the past couple of years. And Matthew asked when we had that on, he says, who the F is this? And that's an F. I figured it was kind of funny. Anyway, Ariel C says, how are you guys feeling about this season?
There's Ariel bringing us down back to earth. Thanks, Ariel. We were going a little bit off the rails. Thanks for bringing us back down. Go ahead, TJ. How do you feel about the season?
Yeah, point wise, right? If you told me we were going to be 17, 12, and 1, I probably would have said you're lying. I think we'll be worse off than that. I think where we are compared to where I expected us to be at this point when we started the season, I'm obviously happy with that. That being said, knowing where we were earlier this season and where we are now makes me a little bit, unsatisfied to say the least.
Okay, my feelings about the season were more fun to watch.
Correct.
It's a more enjoyable product. We're on a pace to be better than last year. We've won some games we shouldn't have won, and we've lost some games we shouldn't have lost. So for me, it's like, are we good enough? I don't think we're on a Stanley Cup run this year. That's all I care about.
John Smith said that guy on YouTube, I watched some of his stuff. He's a Rangers fan. He hates the Islanders. Okay, gotcha. So I didn't know that. Oh, well. He told me he did, and I believe him. I took him at face value. Joseph C. says, I look at the Islanders as rivals, but I will say I know more Rangers fans like myself who hate the Devils more than the Islanders.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Michael Z. said, put it this way. We all hate each other.
There you go.
Each other. Okay, gotcha. D-Cut he's a little hungry. He says, I hope that guy jumps off the George Washington Bridge tonight. No, good gracious.
Wow.
Michael C. says, if they hate the Devils more, then why are they still crying about Potvin?
Legitimate question.
And Joseph C., who is a Rangers fan, says, he has pretty good videos on YouTube. I was about to say, I didn't see any issue with that video. He did go ahead and trip a player that led directly to a goal that gave us a lead from 3-3 in the last 5 minutes. But he doesn't hide his Rangers bias. Then again, he also loves the Maple Leafs. So I don't know how that works out.
Okay.
Owen J says, hey, Grumpy, do you think that under still need, or do you think that that we still need maybe to trade or a high goal score?
Yes.
Okay. Joseph C. Grumpy.
I think the chant is more about just trolling Islanders fans. Don't know why they do it, because a lot of Islander fans in attendance were born way after Potvin played. It's like, here's the thing, because a lot of those Ranger fans, those tickets are passed down from generation to generation. So they've just been saying it for 40 years. It's like part of an indoctrination. Oh, yeah, Islanders or Dennis Potvin sucks. They don't even know the reason why.
Nick D.
Canucks at the Flames tonight. TJ, keep an eye on Bo Horvat. Yes.
Michael Z.
They're still bitter about the hit Potvin laid on their number one D. It wasn't number one D man. It was Ulf Nielsen. Just saying that they've never said that Brodeur sucks. Well,
and he says 1,000 or maybe 10,000% correct, Grumpy. Carolina is better than us.
Yeah, yeah.
TJ, did you see a while ago the ESPN interview? Yeah, with John Tortorella, was like, we sucked. We're playing poorly right now, right next to the player. Yeah, we did. Owen J says, TJ Grumpy, man, who is your favorite Islanders player on the roster right now?
Ooh, go ahead, TJ. You answer that first.
Most valuable? I don't know. Favorite is kind of tough.
Favorite.
I always favorite Matt Barzal.
I'll go with Barzal too.
Okay, fair enough. Joseph C. says, depends on when you grew up. Anybody born in the 80s or after hates Brodeur far more than any Islander.
I don't think I don't even know who Potvin is. I think
Alexander says Simon Holmstrom has been in trade talks along with Robin Salo. I don't think anybody knows any of that stuff.
Here's the thing. If those guys have to get moved, absolutely make that happen. No problem at all.
Ishikov, William DeFore, Fashing, and Ratu are all better than Simon Holmstrom.
True. 100% true.
Homeboy is lose boy toy. I like that, Rich. Holmstrom is lose boy toy.
Homeboy.
I tell you, goodness gracious. Reverse retro says Shay. Big time 28 says, will Ratu get called up?
They haven't called him up now. I don't think they're going to.
Unless we're in a sell mode at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
I mean, I don't think they're not going to do anything crazy. I mean, honestly, I don't care where we are in the standings. You got to move Varlamov and Mayfield. Have to.
Owen J says, hey, Grumpy, I heard you say the Islanders need to hire an African-American analyst. I have to agree. Maybe we can sign Kevin Weeks. I think, it's time for the Islanders. I like Kevin Weeks. I like him when he does Islanders stuff. I like him when he talks on MSG Network. But I'd be down. Hey, Butch.
I didn't say they needed to hire an African American analyst. I think they needed to hire someone who's a little bit more astute, and Kevin Weeks absolutely is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think him being black has anything to do with it. I think he's just a really good announcer.
Yeah. James S. said, you guys hear that Ryan Reynolds wants to buy the Senators.
He must make a shitload of money from those Deadpool movies because he bought the English football team over there.
Wrexham.
And he owns some type of business.
He has his cell phone. He's got the cell phone.
That's it. Yeah, I mean,
Mint Mobile, and then he has a little alcohol. Or here's another thing. Maybe he's one of those guys who these actors and actresses that make billions of dollars throughout their career. Maybe he just didn't blow it on $70 million mansion and $50 million worth of cars and going out and partying. Maybe he just was frugal with his money. You never know.
Yeah.
He says,
I like Ryan Reynolds. He's another guy. I like him.
Listen to Edward's entire comment, you bald jerk. Okay. You know, if somebody can get me the entire video, I just read what it was on The Athletic. It was, it is. TJ's blacked out like the hockey game on ESPN. TJ's working with his 1995 technology. Looks like I'm in the Bat Cave.
God. Batman.
Oh, goodness gracious. D-Cut. Somebody tell TJ to sell his Commodore 64.
Commodore 64. That's way back.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that's old-time computer.
Joseph C says Jack Edwards is insufferable. He might be the worst homer in NHL announcing.
I tell you what, he was not bad last night.
We don't listen to him every night though. So maybe that's what makes our disdain grow for Butch Gordon, because we hear it every night.
Yeah, maybe so. I think Brendan's great.
Yeah, I love Brendan.
Yeah.
He's going to be gone though. It's only a matter of time. Nick D says Ryan Reynolds should buy the Canucks instead. Get rid of that jackass Aquilini. Yeah. I hooked up my Atari. Oh God. Oh no. Frank K said the sound quality sounded like you two were playing Space Invaders on Atari. Oh goodness. I sent you better quality. Okay, maybe we'll do that tomorrow, Alexander. We'll talk about that, but it's already past there. But we'll talk about it tomorrow. Thank you for that. Nick D said, "Oh my God, I forgot about Jenny Piccolo."
Jenny Piccolo. That was Joni's friend on Happy Days. Jenny Piccolo.
Frank K. Grump.
Henry Winkler got me in the leather jackets. That was the actor who played the Fonz.
If Mayfield's that good, why move him? That will hurt our defense tremendously. Well, Grump is taking the position of we're not good enough to win a cup. Might as well sell our assets at the deadline, get something in return for him, because why would we pay Scott Mayfield $5 million a year for him to be our defenseman if we're not competing for a cup next year?
Right. Number 6 defenseman.
Yeah, I was going to say.
5 and 6 pairing.
Yeah, he's going to get probably $5 million a year, if not a little more. I agree with Andy. Maybe Andy was the first person to mention that, but I 100% agree.
Yeah, he's worth it.
D-Cut says Edwards is a 4-eyed punk, hide behind a mic. I hope the homeless man mucks him on his way home from the game. D-Cut making friends tonight. Making friends.
Yeah.
He's in a happy mood. Paulo C. Grumpy.
I would give Lee as part of the deal for Horvat. Who wouldn't? Because Horvat is good in front of the net to replace Lee, even if we can still have to pay part of Lee's salary to do it anyway. I would do that. Absolutely, that's a move.
Why would Vancouver do that?
I don't know. Maybe one of their guys who's going to have an aneurysm, the GM. I don't know.
Stop. Tommy B says, tell him to go to New York City. That will happen naturally. Oh, God, with the homeless man muggings. Oh, no. Here you go, D-Cut. Here you go, Grumpy. This is like a copy and paste, I'm pretty sure. Like the fired TJ hired D-Cut's a copy and paste. I'm pretty sure this one is a copy and paste comment as well.
TJ skipping Isles Misery rated R comments from the members. It's criminal, and your content may be muted if this continues. You've been warned.
You
know, D-Cut looks pretty tough when he wears those glasses in that picture there.
D-Cut. When I don't know why he's taking his picture all the way whole.
It was a little wraparound. Well, I know why I would do it, because if I go too low, you'd see too much of my underchung here. If you go up top, you don't see it as much. I'm not saying D-Cut. That's D-Cut's case. I'm just saying for me.
Oh man. And Drew L.
Grumpy, just wanted to let you know the Knicks are on a 5-game winning streak. Thanks, Drew.
Drew S. Grump.
Sup, boys? Got tickets to the Coyotes game on Friday. Don't know if anyone has used TickPick yet, but they saved me a ton of money on service fees compared to all the other ticket sites. Can't wait. I have to find out how that arena is, Drew. You got to let us know.
Drew S., you are on a scouting assignment at Mullet Arena. I need you to take notes. Bring a notepad. You're on assignment, official assignment. Zero enjoyment is to be had. I need to know everything about that arena. It almost sounded like TickPix. It was like an advertisement for TickPix about how, I mean, hey, if it's cheap and it works out well, good for you.
Yep.
Congrats. Drew L. says, mark my words, Jalen Brunson will be the top 10 ankle breakers this season with that Caruso play. TJ, I sent you for TJ and the Grumpy Old Man tomorrow. We need to put up a gravestone for Caruso. God.
Okay.
You can never have enough centers in the lineup, says Brandon Gaines. I agree.
True.
I agree. Andrew L. said, Bo Horvat has a goal tonight, boys.
There's a shocker.
Hey, look, another guy who is on a contract year having a career season. James F. Grump.
I think the shootout should be like a penalty shot in soccer. Place the puck between the two red dots. You can wind up and take a slap shot. Not going to be a whole lot of scoring with that.
Miss Janspan, Grumpy.
Best are out of the lineup for tonight's game against Calgary. Trade in 3, 2, 1.
I tell you, they're in full blow.
It's funny. I like the offensive players on Vancouver. I just do. I like Brock Besser too. Could you imagine have two Brocks, a Brock and a Croc on the team?
Brock, Croc. Oh my God, Butchie might have to force Butchie into an early retirement.
Oh my gosh, he wouldn't know what to do.
Shea, Grumpy.
Romanov can be a NASCAR driver. He pretty much drives the same speed as they do in NASCAR. At least it seems like it. Shea, man, I like Shea mentioned that he drives pretty fast. And I like how she incorporated a little slam on Romanov's driving speed ability there. Very nice, Shea. Good job.
James F. said he does
James
work.
Says he works for the United States Postal Service.
I told you that. Drew L. said, where's Tony Cheese at? I don't know. Good question.
Probably
Shea has changed her picture again. I don't know how she changes it all so quick. iVarley instead of iCarly. I like that.
Very
All
good.
wasn't out there because we were waiting in case it went to the 9th round and shootout again.
Oh, man. A lot of people are salty tonight. I got to love it. I love it.
I love it. I feed off the saltiness. I love when it's salty
Great.
anywhere.
Yeah.
I'll roll around it like some, I don't know. James F. says, speaking of Christmas, you guys take care of your mail carrier.
My mail carrier sucks.
Oh, Grumpy, you shouldn't say that.
She
Do you remember? Hold on. Real quick story. Son X. I don't know when we're going to introduce Son X to the show, but do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I'm not talking about that now. We're going to save that. We're going to save that.
Tell the story now.
No,
Grumpy.
I'm not. No, it's too late. It's too late.
No, tell the story now. Otherwise, we will forget. Grumpy, tell us about.
I will not forget. Matter of fact, I talked about it last week to the ward. We talked about it. I know exactly what he's saying. Man, Son X, man. TJ, once again, you're just a blank screen there.
I know I'm a blank screen, damn it. Grumpy, I'm trying to get it up and running. Give me a second.
Right. Let's go to the
Tell
next. Tell
me about Son X. I want to hear about this.
No,
Grumpy, I've never heard the mail story with Son X.
Don't worry. That's one for the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show.
Did you make sure to take care of your mail carrier that year?
Oh, I took care of her, right.
Tell us the freaking story.
She's a pain in the ass, man. I'm going to tell you what. Some of them are nice. She's a pain.
She's still delivering your mail?
She's still delivering the mail, but you know what? Some days she's nice. Some days she's a bitch. You know, I got no use for her, honestly.
Good. Or is it you who's being bipolar?
It's not me. It's not me.
Oh.
I say hello to everybody. Some days,
man, when you were working, did you ever used to have good days and bad days?
No, I was pretty much happy just about every day.
Hey, stop your scouting assignment on the Vancouver Canucks. Can I get your attention?
I was looking up in the air trying to think.
Bullshit. You're watching the TV.
No.
I see it reflecting off your shiny forehead, Grump. Get the hell out of here. Shay says, if Salo is traded, yeah, we have to watch out. Shay, I need you to always have the picture of you with Salo in the parking garage with the fat head of Salo.
That's right.
James F. said, I think Kevin Weeks should be a head coach of an NHL team. Your thoughts?
No.
It's a big jump. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like with Jeff Saturday. He went from like analyst for the team or a consultant for the team right to head coach. And I'm like, that kind of pissed me off.
He was nothing. He was working on ESPN.
Yeah, you're talking about Jeff Saturday,
Jeff
right?
Saturday, yeah.
He was also a consultant.
Kevin Weeks is working for NHL Network. No, sorry, no.
Alexander Grump.
Did you hear that Butch said after? You hear what Butch said after we got destroyed by Carolina? He said that we shouldn't boo them because we retired. Yeah, what a joke. Stop.
Exactly. Alexander says Jack Edwards is a freaking piece of shit. He deserves a lump of coal for
Look at
Christmas.
coal in it for Christmas.
Islanders 91 Grump.
Imagine Charles Dolan was successful in buying the Islanders like he tried to do before he bought the Rangers. Well, I can tell you what, he's not afraid to spend money.
We finally now have an owner that's not afraid to spend money.
Yeah, but he just picked the wrong guy as a general manager. The Fossil and Fredo in the waitings, in the wings. Fredo. Freaking Fredo.
Freaking Fredo, he says.
Freaking Fredo.
Because says, apologize, TJ. You said I made up the Phil Sachs comment, which has been proven incorrect. Many apologies. D-cut. Nick D. Grump.
Lou said Lou should hire Coach Klein and have Adam Sandler as the honorary water boy.
Water boy, Grumpy. And Bo is not scratched.
Water sucks. Gatorade's better. Take it on
I
the
knew,
field.
I knew somebody who was in that film. He was a guy, not the guy who went and spinning it, but one of his little buddies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew one of the guys in that. Nick D
said
said
Bo was not scratched because he scored the first goal versus. No, he said that Brock Besser was
scratched.
Yes.
Have you ever met Rich Pilon? We had him on the show once, but never met him. Never met him though. Alexander Grumpy.
If we have shootouts like soccer, then Pulak would destroy the boards and the glass. That's true. Too much damage would be.
Shay Grump.
By the way, the black and white profile picture of Mayfield, I drew that. Wow. Very nice.
Put that back up again, Shay. I want to see that. And Drew L says, to be fair, I'm only giving Lane a pass because it was his first shootout as a head coach.
True.
And I bet Bailey is going to be the third in shootout after the atrocity of a shot. I mean, here's the thing too. Bailey had a good game last night, so maybe that's why he decided to roll him out there. That's the only defense I can make in Lane's stead right there. God almighty, my camera. Shay says reverse retro on the bottom is terrible. Can they not match it up? Now,
if she drew that picture, that's tremendous, isn't it?
I think so. I don't know how you draw it that well. I'm a guy who can barely trace, so
believe me,
I'm impressed. Alexander says, I got your back, Grump.
Thanks, Alexander.
I'm going to lock myself in a room and cry if he's traded. My two favorite players traded / gone in the span of 2 years. Look at this Drew L comment.
I heard TJ's screen went black because his hairline was showing a bit too much.
Jesus Christ. What can I say? Lou is like a fossil. You dig up like a dinosaur. James F. Grumpy,
your mail carrier being a bitch because you probably don't take care of her for Christmas. Now she's pissed at you. No, I think she's freaking bipolar.
Oh, no.
I've talked with very, very nice. No.
D-Cut says apology not accepted.
Oh
well. Too bad, D-Cut. But here we are, Grumpy, at the end of the show. I know we got a lot to cover. We got a lot of fun stuff. Yes, we need the story, Grumpy.
That'll be tomorrow. I can tell tomorrow.
TJ broke the camera just by looking into it. I know. And the plate video. Okay, when I here's the thing. I'm trying to butter up the warden for the plate video. That's going to be really tough.
That's not happening.
Mail video. Grumpy, come on. Give the people a little
mail is not a video. I'm not doing it today. I'm going to do it on DJ and Grumpy Old Man Show.
We're at the end of the comments, Grumpy. Come on.
What? No. It's too long a story.
Too long a story?
To do it justice is too long a story.
God damn. Okay, I guess we're going to have to do that tomorrow then.
Yeah, we can do it.
On the lookout, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you need to check out the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man Show.
That's right.
There it is. Shay said, I'll leave this as my profile picture for now. Exactly. There it is. Got to leave that as the profile picture in honor of Robin Salo. Bring it up tomorrow, Grumpy. Absolutely. But, Grumpy, we're here at the end of the show. What do you want to say before we wrap things up today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening to the show. We'll be live with you tomorrow. It's a can't miss episode talking about the postal with the postal story with Son X. But we'll be on tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. So make sure you don't miss out on that. Make sure you check it out. But again, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to leave a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and listening. Big games upcoming this Friday and Saturday evening. Big games for the Islanders against the Coyotes and the Vegas Golden Knights. Until then, have a great Thursday. I hope you all had a great hump day. We're almost done with the week, guys. It's Thursday now. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again, as always, Grumpy.
My pleasure.